Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. I don't know, it's the boy Abu just getting here representing for Full Sports TV. And tonight, panelists, a lot to discuss, Can't see the Reds fans turn out in the numbers. Gentlemen, what's going on?
Well, the real Reds fans turn out. Those are the mighty Reds from Liverpool.
Boy, Butch, you set up that one the nice, man.
Yeah, man.
The man really did not talk about the Red Devils still. But we're about, We're about.
All right, a lot to discuss, especially in terms of the Premier League. So we're gonna hop on to the Spanish and Germany, and then we're gonna get down to the real business end of the program.
Well, you know, Shane want to talk about PSG too, so we have to talk about that.
Definitely.
No, it's not interesting anymore to talk about it.
That man said, what's interesting to talk about PSG? There's nothing really interesting to talk about.
You know, JR is only here to talk about Man United, so he will while we talk about English League.
No, I don't mind talking about PSG, but there's only so much to really talk about,
All right, since we're there, we're just gonna go ahead and discuss it. Comfortable without some of the big stars, 4-0, right? 4-2.
4-2.
Yeah.
4-2. And the real talking point no really for PSG is what they go do really in terms of the Champions League. That is how they go get really how they go get judged this season. Another talking point was Kylian Mbappe kind of get booed. There is something going on in terms of him not signing his contract yet. So we know Neymar already re-signed, and kind of commit the rest of fame prime as a specific prime to PSG. But the Kylian Mbappe saga still continues on. And Nasser El Khalifi, that is the president of PSG, has been saying that he wants to sit down and talk to Mbappe, but for some reason there is rumblings that he wants to go to Real Madrid this season. I don't know if Real Madrid have the money that it would cost to sign him. You understand what I mean? But there is an argument out there that he wants to leave this season. So that keep rumbling on. As I say, he got booed when he score. Them cheer him, but it's something that keep rumbling on. We'll see how it goes. That's the only subplot to the season for PSG. How far they can go in the Champions League, and if Kylian Mbappe resigns for them, which he's not. Even if he spend the season there, he's not going to stay there for a prolonged period after this year.
Well, that point you make about Kylian Mbappe, I that's where I wanted to go, because that's what I think is the most intriguing thing right now in the French league. Will he stay or will he go? Or when will he stay? When will he go? Dave will probably tell her that he's gonna go to Liverpool. So who knows?
Who tell you that? I mean, again, he only have one more year, just like Paul Pogba, right?
Yeah.
He have one more year left, and this is this year. And then all we have heard is that he always want to play for Real Madrid. That is what people have been led to believe, that he would love to go to Real Madrid. It's just that we don't see Real Madrid having this sort of money. And the wages, the pay package you go take if you get a Kylian Mbappe there. You understand? So I don't know how that works out. It's interesting, but again, they said that it's been months now that the contract has been quote unquote on the table, as they always say, and he hasn't really signed it. So we'll see how it goes. Go ahead, David.
Yeah, well, obviously, PSG cannot afford to have him walk free. He's not even in his prime. So if he does not want to sign the contract, they need to find a suitor, due to the fact that this is his last year on his current deal. So as far as I'm concerned, it's and I've seen this many times in sports where you have a superstar and you don't want to be the organization that is going to sell him, because all the fan base will turn on you. But I think this is an exception where if he does not want to sign the contract, they have to find a suitor, or else he will walk free, and they cannot afford it. And that's the same situation with Pogba also, but I know we're talking about PSG.
But
let me just go ahead, because you see, the thing is, firstly, I could care less if Mbappe leave. That's just me personally. Obviously, me is not a French league fan like that. Anyway, personally, me feel as if Mbappe wastes out his career. Anybody in the French league, me personally, is a waste of career. That's my perception of the French league. But what I want to talk about is where we talk about, as Shane said, which is how PSG season depends on the Champions League. And I have always said PSG have always have the talent to win the Champions League. And I think what separates PSG a lot of the times from maybe a Liverpool or a Chelsea or a Bayern Munich or whatever is sometimes the quality of the league that they play in. And I think, so let me piece it together now. A Liverpool, for example, or a Chelsea, they're playing high-end football on a week-to-week basis, every week. PSG, you play against some little foolish side, so you can go half-hearted half of the season. Now, when you come up against these high-end teams, like from some of these countries, where like Liverpool, for example, which is playing against Chelsea, Man City, all these teams week in, week out, you're used to the high-level, high-tempo football. When you come against them in the quarterfinal or whatever, or semi-final, majority of the time, I just always think that they'll always win. Because match sharpness is a previous football. I feel like you're sharp when you play high-level football, high competitive football. I feel like that's one of PSG's biggest downfall. So it's never been talent. So my perception of PSG winning this season has not changed at all, even though they signed Messi. I still feel as if they're going to actually fall short. That's just my perception. And Shane, you already know how I feel about Neymar already. So that's just my 2 cents.
Quick question, right? The fact of the fans booing him. Normally, fans sometimes, right? We're not all for them or not. And you think the fans booing him have nothing to do. We know the contract situation, right? But you'd rather think that is it the fact that them have a Messi now can turn to why you think the Messi effect have nothing to do with the fans booing him?
Mm-hmm. I didn't even think of it, but yeah.
Yeah, it could be, but there has been something that's been rumbling on all summer. It's been rumbling all summer. Where again, this contract thing has been going on for a while before.
Yeah, I totally disagree with this Messi effect. Why they booing him?
It's been going on.
It have nothing to do with that.
It's the contract.
They want him to commit. They want him to commit, and it seemed like he have other plans.
No.
I think he's desperate to go to Real Madrid.
But based on what Bojo said though, it's like somewhere in between, in my view, where it's that the fact that they do have a Messi now, what they can look at. Because before, I think they would have been handling with more of a kid glove. They'll be trying to do everything to say, no, you have to stay. But nowadays, almost like say, hey, listen, man, if you have one girl and one next girl that give you a problem, you're going to say, hey, you can go on. If you have one girl, you go beg and crawl for your knee. That's just what it is.
There is a theory that they couldn't afford to lose him before, but they can start to afford to lose him. Neymar signed his contract. Messi's there. And Messi's there. And there is, again, another theory that even next year they'll go and try to sign Ronaldo, believe it or not, if Kylian Mbappe leaves.
And he'll be free, right?
Yes, so I think his contract will be up with Juventus.
Yeah.
So, again, it's not the most outlandish thing you ever heard, right? So,
which is fine.
And while they wouldn't say, still wouldn't want to lose Mbappe, again, it's more palatable for them if that is the train of thought then they go with. You understand what I mean? So I think that's where it is right now. Just watch this space, really.
10 minutes of that, Bojo.
That's
jokingly.
That's fine.
Spain. Love. Real Madrid win 4-1, right? 4-1, right?
I never
Me
watched
not
the
think
game.
me 2-1. Huh?
I didn't watch the game.
Yeah, me not think me 2-1 talk about that like I'm on talk about the athletic game and the war and thing, is it? Suarez again, always in the middle of everything, right? Always.
I I heard about that one. I didn't watch it. But me know say it was two. What is it? Two red cards.
Me say 1, me not know if I 2.
I think it was two. I think it was two red card, one at each team. You see me? And Atleti and was it 2-1? Atleti win.
Yeah, 2-1.
Yeah. So Atleti start off the season well. Again, they have to defend the championship, and it'll be interesting to see how they get on this season. Whole heap of moving parts. If Suarez can hold up for them, they're my favorites, right? Everybody agree that they're the favorites.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even though Ancelotti gone back to Real Madrid, be interesting to see how them get on. You know what I mean? But yeah, I think they have the deeper squad, been together longer, and yeah, I think and the manager that's been there for years now, so them should be able to put it.
Well, you say Suarez, but one of the things that I think about is that young little Portuguese boy, what them go sign for over one, right? Yeah, Joe Felix, what them sign for over 100 million. It's time. Listen, me, you don't get time. Yeah, it's time. You can't be signed for 100 million and we're still waiting on you. You need to be there. You need to be the man now. There's no two way around it. To me, this is a seasonal boss for Joe Felix and in career. That's how I look at it. He's young, but that's how I look at it when he gets signed for $100 million. And it's not the first year. This is the third year now with them. It's no excuse. You need to come to the fore. You're $100 million. That's a massive investment.
That's a problem. But that's a problem, though. You can't look at him and tell him that. You have to kind of treat him with kid gloves because you have all that investment in him, and you cannot sell him to anywhere for that money. Nobody's not going to buy him for that. No, and he look lightweight. Although in skill, most of the time he look lightweight, and he just look like a 13-year-old child, right? So that's the issue. That they have to treat him and bring him on until he start fulfill that promise, because nobody not going to take him for that money, for that pay pocket, and them have a whole heap of money wrapped up in him. But I do agree with you, the point where you have to start, you have to start fulfilling potential, because Suarez can go on favor. You know what I mean? He's creaking, and if he can get injured, he should be deputizing, forwarding, and carrying the team at some point in the season.
The second one on that team is the fact that they turned on that $90 million Arsenal brought to Monaco for Thomas Lamar. That was like that's the worst. That's the best thing happened to Arsene Wenger when he got rejected.
No, blacks. That was just a skateboard for people by jersey. That bid was on the last day when the player was out.
It doesn't matter.
International duty.
It was $90 million for a player who doesn't worth 30.
That deal was never going through.
It was $90 million for a player doesn't worth 30.
It was never worth the money. It was never worth the money. He's a good player. Honestly, he's a good functional player. And again, you're absolutely right. If they ever sign that player for that sort of money, especially remember I said that they was losing Sanchez at that time too. Mm-hmm. It was marked as some kind of replacement for Sanchez. Yeah, they would have never forgive him for that. So yeah, him kind of dodge a bullet right there by Atleti signing him.
Yeah, Arsenal surely did dodge a bullet, but go back to the Felix conversation. It's not a player fault how much the market evaluate him for, and obviously when you come into a club on a big money, we expect that player to justify that price tag. And sometimes they off to a slow start. Now Felix is very young, but obviously there's a lot of pressure on the young man, and hopefully he will pick up. Now I must admit I didn't see the game, so that's why I didn't talk about the game that much.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Other notable, just one more notable thing as we talk about on the blog today, about Sevilla. Them win big too. And again, it'll be interesting for Sevilla because they did well in a Europe last season, and they
Yeah,
did
them
well
beat
in
Man
the
U in the
Spanish league.
final.
Exactly, and they did well in the Spanish league too, right? So Sevilla, they have a good striker. His name is Nasri, French Moroccan defense. I think he is one of the players that if Spurs lose Hurricane, they should go after. He's very, very, very good. You know what I mean? And them end up winning. I think they would win 3-0. But ex Tottenham and Argentina player him score 2 goals off my bench. So it was a good look for Sevilla. Go ahead, Bujo.
All right, no, me just did want to say, not much to mention over there other than Barca look fluid and them look
Yes,
decent without Messi, you know?
yes,
They have
yes.
good players.
And
Go
the
ahead,
thing
Bujo.
about the thing about the Barca team, I did look at that game. The thing about the Barca team, it's interesting to see who will take the lead in that team now, because to be a leader now you have to earn it. It's not given to you, and they did perform well.
Yeah,
To believe that they
it's
win
interesting.
4-2.
It's interesting seeing Braithwaite coming to the fore because no
Right,
care for
and
disrespect
the
him
pay.
like he
The
is some.
the pay. Sorry, Shane. The pay
Yeah,
also had a good game. The pay had a very good game.
the
Continue.
pie,
Sorry. I mean
exactly.
the pie.
Yeah, no, that's fine. The pie, it'll be interesting to see how Braithwaite play to this season. You know, what I mean, he looks like somebody that's motivated. People love to play him like he can't kick a football. He's a good player. I've been watching Braithwaite since he was at Toulouse in France. You know what I mean? Back in idea, it was him, it was Aubameyang, and the individuals that was in a French league. I've been watching these kids. So he's a good player, basically. Again, he's not, the thing is, you lose Suarez and then you get Braithwaite. That's ridiculous. He not go, he, not, he can't match Suarez, but he's a good striker. You know what I mean? So it'd be interesting. Barcelona have good players. Griezmann is still a good player.
It's not the same thing though, too.
Huh?
Griezmann moved to Barca. He was the man at Atleti. He moved to Barca. He had to play in Messi's shadow. Now the big bad wolf is gone. Can he step up and do it for Barca? Can he be that talisman again? He's $100 million player again. You
A
see,
great player. The problem is that both of them play the same way, right? And they would have getting at each other's way. Because Griezmann, if you watch,
uh-huh.
you watch where you want to play and how he play, it never fit with both of them in the same team trying to start. But Griezmann is a great player, right? And that's amazing. Barcelona still have the Frankie De Jongs I were. You know, who know if Felipe Coutinho will fall back? I don't know if he's injured or what. God help, at some point, I hope again, Usman Dembele forward back. If he does, at times last year, he play well. So again, they still have good players. You know what I mean? It's just them if you put it together. They still have good players. You say Memphis Depay. They have good players. It's just them if you put it together. Go ahead, Bujo.
Yeah, go ahead.
I mean, me not have much to say on Barca, you know. You understand? I just want to observe over the weekend and how the team are play. Me just want to point that out real quick. But I mean, we not waste the time. We shifting gears and go to
Yes.
England. No, hold on. Alan, back on fire. We can't leave out that. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see where him end up next year. I promise you.
He's gonna go to the Prem. It's either Man City if them not get Kane. Which other big side don't have a striker? United. Who else don't have a striker?
Arsenal
said
not
Ma-
gonna have a striker next year.
No,
Bujo, can we please stop?
Butcher, let's leave that alone. But yeah, my feel say might end up in the Prem. My feel say if Man City don't get Kane this summer, they might be a major contender for him. With Mbappe going to Real Madrid and Real Madrid financial situation, I feel say might end up at Spain and Barcelona. I think the Barcelona have the money to pay him
They
either.
have no money to pay him, right?
So realistically, he's either he might go Bayern Munich, which is a German player's route, or he might go come in at the Premier League. So I feel like the ambition of him as Erling Haaland. I feel like his ambition is more likely right now to come out of the Premier League, to tell you the truth.
Well, I don't think. Well, I don't think it's only ambition alone. The salary that he's gonna command, Bayern won't pay it. I don't think you'd mind playing in Bayern, but Bayern won't pay that salary. But we know Bayern doesn't go into that stratosphere with nobody. Doesn't matter who you are.
You know who's his agent too, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
So it's all of that. Why I say that it won't happen. So it's gonna be one of the silly boys who did it. So Juventus may have money by then with salary. Can remember say his fees gonna drop to 75 million. So it's not exorbitant anymore. But Juventus, Ronaldo's salary may be coming off their books, which is what 900,000 a week or whatever close to that. So they could almost just switch that money over to him. It's not out of the realm.
The problem is you go feel almost dirty because while it would drop down to 75 million, I think you have to pocket giving father some money.
75 million have to go with it.
Exactly. You have to go give the fat man some money in his pocket. It's gonna be a dirty deal.
Yeah.
That go make you feel aware. But again, football has no ethics, so you just have to deal with it. You have to deal with these agents. It is what it is. So again, this is one of them things that I think it's a Man United. As you say, Manchester City. I think Manchester City go get Kane. So again, it's the process of elimination. The same thing we kind of did Sancho. Where if you realistically look, I think Manchester United, then probably be the one the leading club to get him. Honestly, if I'm looking at it honestly, because I don't see Juventus and them club there going and paying that sort of money to him.
Yeah, no, Juventus already try to get Ronaldo for the books already. They're not paying them.
Right.
Look, it is gonna be a very interesting. That is gonna be the biggest transfer of next summer. Well, also if Pogba and Mbappe don't, if them don't sign them contract or them don't get renewed or whatever, then obviously next summer is a very big shift in our club football. So there's a lot to see how the whole thing play out.
Look, up until Chelsea signed Lukaku, I was under the impression that Chelsea would have gone and get now obviously I see Kane going to City. I think it's it's just a matter of time, but I see Kane going to City. So if we're gonna do elimination, I think the team that probably got to go for Holland is Manchester United. His coach, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, I believe he worked with Holland when he was a youth. So there is some relationship there. Now, of course, the agent going to be a problem for what he demand, but I think that's the more realistic landing spot for him.
But when I think about it as well, I think when you understand United also only extended Cavani for 1 year instead of actually going out in the market like a Chelsea to get an actual striker, it kind of, maybe if you really think about it, it might actually line up like that for real, which would be a very good sign in that, actually. Well, but we have to wait and see because, as Mina realize a little madman. So, we have to wait and kind of see how this thing will play out. But I feel like the top contenders for him, honestly, David just said something about Chelsea. I never think Erling Haaland was ever going to go to Chelsea, by the way. I have never once had that perception. I don't think Chelsea is the caliber of the club to even be in the conversation for Erling Haaland. That is my personal perception. When you think about the Mbappes or the Haalands, which is generational players like your Messis and your Ronaldos or your Neymars or whatever, Chelsea have never really have one of those players on their squad. When they talk about generational talent, most of the generational talent have always filtered through one of maybe 5 clubs historically. And I think that trend is actually going to continue. It's either you're going to go to Madrid, Barcelona, PSG now is in the fold.
I disagree, man.
Which generational talent have ever played for Chelsea? When we talk about the Neymars and the Mbappes and the, of those caliber players. Chelsea have always had very good players.
All right, let's do this. After Neymar and Mbappe and Ronaldo and Messi, what other people are you talking about, right?
Yes, but the thing is what we are saying is that even before that, let's go back to even before them, the Zidanes of the world, right?
But they never played in England, though. That's one of my...
No, but when I said them have to play in England, but I mean I said it's coming to an English club. I said the person that come to Manchester United. But what I'm trying to say is that historically, these level of players have never chosen to actually go to a Chelsea. They go to Real Madrid, Barcelona, PSG, Bayern, United.
Ballack was a good player when he went there. Michael Essien, Michael Ballack.
Come on. Ballack and them is good players, man. But we're talking about the. Come on, man. Bro, we are talking about the cream of the crop now, man. That's young talents, man.
These are top players, bro. What are you talking about?
They're top players, but they're not the Ronaldos and the Messis of the world, which is Haaland and Mbappe right now. Would you agree that Haaland and Mbappe right now is the two most sought after talents?
Yeah, but after them,
exactly,
you have other players that are top players.
Yes, which I agree with.
Some of those and I still disagree with you. I disagree with you.
Well, if I may jump in, so there's two parts. I think there's two parts to the conversation. If it was this year, I believe that Chelsea had a chance because one, they were one of the only probably two clubs who could actually afford him.
Amen.
That
was my point.
I think that's why I thought Chelsea had a chance, not because of him choosing Chelsea, but because Chelsea was probably Chelsea and City were probably the only two teams who were willing to pay $150 million on a striker this year.
But the thing is, it's still that did not choose to go.
Eden Hazard was the hottest thing in the market. When Eden Hazard was the hottest thing on the market, you chose to go to Chelsea, right?
When you can say, "Oh, Eden Hazard was a very good talent, but he was never Mbappe or Neymar. Mbappe or Haaland. Now let's stop the foolishness now.
Again, but Haaland had.
Shane,
go ahead, David.
Let's don't forget Hazard chose to go to Chelsea after Chelsea won the Champions League. So Chelsea was a very good club at the time.
Yes.
But listen, y'all. What me I try to say is that I'm not questioning Chelsea is a good club or not. I think Chelsea is a very good club. But what I'm trying to say, history does not favor Chelsea when it comes to these level of talented players. Mbappe is not going to Chelsea, bro. I've never once think about Mbappe going to Chelsea. That's what I'm trying to say. The thing is that when you also look at it from a marketing standpoint, if we make it, honestly on this blog right now, I can honestly say Newcastle have more fans than Chelsea. Leeds have more fans than Chelsea. Well, I know. I'm not trying disrespecting Chelsea, But Leeds have more fans than Chelsea. Newcastle have more fans than Chelsea. That is my honest perspective.
But
hold on, 1 second, David. 1 second, David.
Well,
1 second, David.
Because some of my money funds them.
Well, I know.
Somebody perceive. Go ahead.
Listen. Now, when you talk about players of that level of global brand, why do you want to go to Chelsea? That's what I'm saying. Players of these, they have a particular brand which they can actually sell. Majority of their money is going to be made off the field. You have to go to a club which actually have the fan base, the brand to actually build up that brand. I don't think Chelsea have the fan base to be early on to become this iconic person what they need to be. And that is the truth. Messi, Ronaldo make most of their money off the field because they go to a Real Madrid or Barcelona or whatever. These are big clubs across the world. Chelsea is a very good club, well-run club, a lot of money. But at the end of the day, is he going to build up the world-class badge Haaland deserve to have or Mbappe deserve to have? No. As I said, I don't want this to come across like if me I try disrespect Chelsea as a club. Because I do like Chelsea as a club. But that's my honest belief. Might be wrong.
No, that's fine.
I think we need a Chelsea fan on the panel now, sure.
Didier Drogba was a world-class icon, bro.
Mm-hmm.
What are you talking about?
Jesus Christ.
Hold on. See, Biko said Shevchenko went to Chelsea. At the time, it was Shevchenko, Ballack.
Shevchenko was one of the biggest ballers.
I think them have like...
Buji, look like me can't hear you. Cut out.
Me?
I could hear.
Me?
I could hear.
I'm hearing you, Buju. Go ahead.
Yeah, but
go on, Buju.
Summarize what JR said, right?
I'll refresh this thing here.
Check your Wi-Fi, bro.
You need to go with Virgin. Leave straight.
Besides, it's gone. But what I'm saying,
it's a good debate, though. It's a good debate. You know,
Oh,
but
hold
me
on,
no
hold on.
want to slide Chelsea just because no Chelsea
It is.
fans are there. We have to
Now
be
listen,
honest.
listen. My
Why
reason,
you feel like somebody slide Chelsea? Man, that's sliding Chelsea, no.
JR,
It's the facts.
my reason for mentioning Chelsea as an option wasn't based on brand, but it was based on what club could afford him.
Yeah.
That was
But
my
That's the
reason
facts.
for me. Hold on, let me finish
hold
my
on.
point. Let me finish my point. Now let's don't forget we are coming off a pandemic where a lot of clubs have lose money at the gate.
Okay.
And so there are few clubs that could afford a Holland. And again, my reason for mentioning Chelsea was only based on finance. Well, money. They could afford him. That was my reason for mentioning them. So I just want to clarify that point.
Chelsea.
But the thing is that, as you said, Chelsea was one of the few clubs that could actually afford him, right? But yet, since he's still at Dortmund right now, and even if Chelsea approached him, or maybe obviously he didn't want to go. So
Okay.
that's what I try to tell her. You know, so that's exactly what I try to say. You know, because the thing is that I promise you right now, if Barcelona or Real Madrid have the money right now and actually went for Erling Haaland, it's a very high possibility that he would be down there in Real Madrid right now. You know, so that's what I try to explain to you. Chelsea have the money, but they just could not complete the deal, and that is the truth. They just pay $150 million for Lukaku. I'm sure to God, if anybody buy a striker now, the first striker you're going to check for is Erling Haaland. The first striker you don't want to check for, based on the age and everything. Now, well, obviously they met that inquiry, and he didn't want to go. You know, so I'm trying to say, and obviously Dortmund would maybe want to sell because they make more money now by selling him now compared to next year when the release clause kick in, right? And obviously the player did not want to go there. You know, so that's what I try to say. I don't blame him. Personally, when Haaland did not come to Manchester United 2 years back or 2.5 years back, I did not blame him because I thought it was the best move for his career. You know what I'm saying? I think if you understand how this father and agent are planning out his career, it's a very strategic thing. And if you look at it, you know, he's only going to be playing for the biggest clubs across. Even if he become United next season, for example, you know, whatever. In time leave United, he's going to go to Real Madrid or a Barcelona. After that, he's going to go to a Juventus. After that, he's going to go to a PSG. He's only going to go to the biggest clubs across the world. That's what I try.
Chelsea, yeah, but Chelsea's one of the biggest clubs. I don't see the difference right now in terms of achievement. I don't see the difference between Chelsea and Man United. Like, if you go to
that's the problem.
If you
It's
go
not
to
about
Chelsea,
achievement, Shane.
just an opinion, bro. It's just an opinion, right? Chelsea have the same kind of launching pad Manchester United have. Chelsea was in a Champions League final last season and won it. Chelsea is competing for titles. Chelsea is a big club. They've been doing it for 10 years. They have the same kind of bandwagonist fans that Manchester United have, and the same kind of fans that fluctuate from big club to big club. They have those kind of. It's fine, bro. It is fine, but I'm telling you, Chelsea's a big club.
Yeah, but
so just summarily
but the
dismiss
thing,
them like that. All I'm
but the thing,
saying.
hold on, because
You go say
we have to move on the
and
conversation.
go back PSG.
Yes, please.
No. Hold on. You're just saying that here we go at PSG. So why would you go to PSG and go to Chelsea? That don't make any sense because they're two plastic clubs. And actually, Chelsea have a bigger history than PSG. So what are we even talking about here?
But the thing is that, and again, it's not about who. As again, I think Chelsea is a very good club. Always win the Premier League in a couple of years. Always be competitive in the Champions League. Win the Champions League up to last season. It's not about competitiveness. It's about global brand. And the thing is that Chelsea does not have the global brand to compete with some of these other clubs because the level of these players, they understand the monetary aspect of this football thing here. The 2 billionaires in the game right now, Messi, Ronaldo. There's two of them. If neither of these players actually stayed at like a Dortmund or whatever, it doesn't matter how good them is. You cannot market a club like Dortmund to become these players become multi-billionaires or billionaires, becoming multi-billionaires. You have to go to a club which actually fit the brand the way you're going because majority of football players' money is made off the field, not on it. You know what I say? So you need to go to a club where you have two things. Can help you win and also have a global brand which can continuously sell across the world. You know, Chelsea don't have the global fan base where as much as we want to talk about it as even the Man United don't win for 10 years now. They don't have the global fan base of that. Arsenal now win nothing for a long time now. They don't have the fan base of Arsenal now. It doesn't matter how we want to flip this. they can win things there. But when you try to build up a brand and try to make a lot more money off the field you make on it, Chelsea is not a club which you look at. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, and that is just the honest truth. Now, which player you leave Chelsea and look at them and be like, oh my God, this is a multi-billion-dollar player. No, we see a lot of players leave these bigger clubs and they build up bigger brands outside, and even when they retire from football. But that's because the club provided that platform. Even when United right now, you look at a lot of the dumb pundits in England. You see Scholes, you see Roy Keane, you see all these little madmen that are foolishness from football sometimes. But guess what? They get that platform because of Manchester United. They see Gary Neville. They see all these United players. They see Jamie Carragher. A lot of Liverpool players. Because that is the brand of English football. And that is what it ultimately trying to say. Doesn't mean Chelsea don't win more than Liverpool. Doesn't mean Chelsea don't win more than United. But that's just the history. That's just the reality of what we're facing with.
When they weren't very good. Bro, again, you're taking this thing way too far. Drogba was the world.
I think we can bring that to the blogger and we can get some Chelsea fans' perspective on it. Can move on to the full league.
Yeah, man. While it lasted, that was while it lasted. It's again down to opinions and idea. Chelsea is a massive club, but I understand what you say to a point. Next subject, yes. I guess.
Thank you.
All right, yeah, back to the big league. The big league.
The best league.
How do we get to that conversation?
Huh?
We started to talk about Dortmund.
I is the one who mentioned
David messed it up. David was one.
David, man. David cause man.
But anyways,
all right.
Go ahead.
Next.
Yeah, to the best league now. Let's get it out the way. Friday game. Go ahead. Laugh. Take 2 minutes and laugh.
Lovely game.
Take 2 minutes and laugh.
Well, the truth is there's no need to laugh, and there's a sadness about it too. There's a sadness about it. Arsenal is not supposed to be like this. You know, it's just not supposed to be this way. There's a sadness about it. I honestly don't find no pleasure in it. Normally, when a team like that they suffer, you find pleasure in it. But I find none. I actually want to see Arsenal competing. I want to see them, when they come to play, them have some amount of positiveness about them. I want to see them thinking that they can win and then you can disappoint them. But right now, Arsenal go to Liverpool or Man U or City or Chelsea and lose. It's expected. I don't think anyone is going to believe that Arsenal is going to win and beat anybody, and that takes away a little bit out of it. So it's kind of pitiful in a way, in that respect.
So last week, me predict draw, Greg predict lose, and think otherwise. And we are the Arsenal fans, right? But I guess, as Shane normally say, everybody is Arsenal expert in these days.
Yeah, but you know what it is, Buju? Nobody know say, to be fair to everybody, we ain't know say Aubameyang and Lacazette would not be. I mean, I don't know if they have dog flu. I don't know what it is. Shane. Is it COVID?
Whether them have dog flu, bird flu, fit or not, them couldn't save that game there.
Again, there's a problem with the manager. It is the manager, because it's one of them things. It's a whole heap of problems, a whole heap of things. As that one great song once sang. But yeah, I don't think the manager inspire or get the best out of the team. And you go see throughout the season, you'll really see if he really have anything about him. You understand what I mean? Because looking forward.
Looking at the games for forward, it look like we are going to go international break 0-3. I think a decision should be made by then. Yeah, I hope we got 0-3.
Yeah, but the other thing is that
you can't
the thing with Arteta.
Well, listen. Arteta was under the.
David, make him finish. David.
Okay, I'm sorry. I thought he was finished. Go ahead. Go ahead, Shane.
Go ahead, David.
All right, yeah. Arteta was under the tutelage of Pep, and you know, personally, I think he should have go and coach a lower division team and build himself up. I think they give him the job based on the success of Pep and Man City, and right now we are witnessing that it's not working out. And the sooner they cut tie with Arteta, the better. I'm just gonna keep
Man,
it real.
listen,
One,
Arsenal
hold
need
on,
to
hold
cut
on, hold
time.
on, hold on. Remember, I just one thing what I'm saying. David,
Sorry, Brojo.
no, you're good. Just one thing. It is not Arteta's fault that some knucklehead decide to give an inexperienced coach the job. Continue now. It's not his fault.
Yeah. All right. Let me just chip in on this here. The first thing, Arsenal, we are talking about the coach, but from a United fan, we actually have similar problems recently. The first problem we have with Arsenal is the board itself and the people in the upper office. That is the first problem. And as much as we are talking about Arteta, I don't agree that the resources they have is the best resources. Could he do better with the resource that he actually have, the team that he have? Yes, absolutely. But for a team of Arsenal with the fan base and the monetary, with the money where Arsenal bring in with a full stadium every year, amount of jersey we sell every year, they should have way more investment in that squad. Last year, I see you have a side of the caliber of Arsenal, the history of Arsenal, where the best player on your team last year was Saka. How old is Saka? 18 or 19?
19.
19 now. That is already a bad thing. Mr. Last year we talked about Smith Rowe as the best player, best midfield player for Arsenal, and them type of something there. That is the fundamental reason why Arsenal is where they are right now. You cannot, as much as we have a bad coach as well, but we can finish a little bit better sometimes because we have a lot of talent as well. And the truth is that Arsenal, that may I say we have more talent, and Arsenal just don't have the talent, and that is the truth, And Aubameyang obviously cool, but him get him contract the man out of sort. Lacazette, good player, never been the biggest Lacazette fan to tell the truth, but he's a good player. Hold on, Bojo. Let me finish up. Middle of the park we are talking about. Who's the middle of the park for now? The midfield party, cool. Everybody else to me below par. In the defense, you have Bellerin still a play food in the back. We have a very good left back in Tierney. But otherwise than that, centre back wise,
I play well in the Euros. I don't want to cut you, but again, I'm not going to. Shaka play well in the Euros, right? Like they're not chopped liver. They're not bad players, right? What? No. Seriously, I don't. No. I may say they're not all bad players, right? They're really not, and then they're cheap, bro.
Well,
and that's an issue.
The one thing is, I hear JR make the comparison between the coaches. While you can agree that probably from a technical standpoint, they are probably some similar people or the similar quality. The difference is that what Ole has done at Man U from the recruitment standpoint and from there seems to be some cohesion with the board and what they're trying to do and how to get the right players in. And from that perspective, it has covered some of the crack of Ole's inefficient, some of his shortcomings, because of that. Because they have good players there, as opposed to Arsenal, who everybody, and he may become a good player, he may become a great defender one day. When they bought John Stone for $50 million, people now say, why they spend more money on him? No, he came by 5 years later, he's not a good player. You're talking about Ben White, they went to them buying when every Arsenal supporter will tell us, one, that's the wrong place to spend the money, and two, the person you spend the money on wasn't good enough to spend it. So there seemed to be some lack of cohesion between the coaching and the board, as opposed to Man U, who I think that it's going in the right direction in terms of being cohesive. If they had a better coach, they probably would have been further ahead. But the fact that they are all in the same direction, eventually things will get there.
You can say
very good
the
points.
same thing about Nicolas
Pepe,
about Pepe, who he have good spells here and there, but he's not consistent enough to the sort of money where they spend for him, right? So yes, the recruitment have been poor.
Poor man.
I'll just go ahead and say it right now, right? So the funny thing is, last year, I remember I first game my season. Willian had 2 assists. I don't know if you remember.
Yes,
He
I
had 2
remember.
assists, and everybody was like, "Yo, this Willian I signed in
Fulham.
nice season." You know, he was a signing nice
Free
season,
transfer. Free
and I remember
transfer.
I kept saying under the blog, "Yo, it's 3 years. Like, how do you give this guy 3 years? He's old. Like, it don't make no sense. You're not consistent enough with Chelsea. So what are you doing? It's just it's just mind-boggling the kind of signings they make. The signings is dubious because it's from one corrupt agent again. Then they make most of their signings, which is a brother named Kia Jaraption. But they get Cedric from him. They get a bunch of different players. And again, these are signings that's not. Then they come in that club, get big contract, and not really play. Then get Cedric, Willian. I think in any Brazilian player you see coming out of that club, they have something to do with Kia Jaraption. So there's a lot of nonsense going on at that club. Whole heap of money getting drained with that club, and you're not even see fruits, funny pitch. It's really bad.
Yep.
But then at the same time, the caveat is they have good players, and I just look at it like if it was a Brendan Rodgers, and I always bring up Brendan Rodgers as some kind of, I don't know, some kind of buffer. He's not the best coach, but I just feel like he worked with what he have, the talent what he have, and I feel like say enhance the talent that he do have. So I feel like if it was a young manager who knows something or could have coached a little bit, they get more out of even this
Agreed.
mismatch of players. And that's all I'm saying. I'm not saying then go fight for top 4 or anything, but just be a little bit consistency.
What about your other coach? What about if I give a team to your other coach, Graham Potter? I think you do a great job with this bunch of youth.
It's just it don't make any sense because the things I hear is that with Arteta, he is very, very. I don't want to use any curse word, but he's very moody, right? And there's a lot of agendas. Again, he don't really mention or say really why Aubameyang and Lacazette is out. Somebody says sickness, but it's not anything that's concrete. And then you hear say, boy, he want to let both of them go. So is it that? Are they sick or they try to let them go, right? You understand what I mean? There's a lot of things going on in a foreground we really don't know. I mean, if they have COVID, they can say, yo, they have COVID. Nobody else is going to question that. See, Lionel talk about Edu. Again, Edu, yes. Edu was, but the thing is, Edu is Brazilian and Kia Jaraption is Brazilian. So while Edu was a good player for Arsenal and Arsenal fans love him, people are the one that say, what kind of kickbacks is Edu getting from Kia Jaraption? But they keep bringing all of these idiot players to Arsenal and they sign them up all the time. All right, I'm finished. I'm done.
Yeah, but just to finalize that point, what my takeaway was that from what Troy says that Arsenal, obviously the coach is a problem, could be better, right? But the biggest problem at Arsenal right now is not the coach, it's the back staff and the recruitment. I can tell you that right now, it's the biggest problem. Yes, the mayor say, and because the amount of money Arsenal spend, Bernard does spend $50 million with Ben White and 70 plus million for Pepe. It's a lot of bad money spending, and United was in this exact same situation. But before Ole Gunnar forward at the club, we spent over $1 billion, similar to Man City, and we didn't have nothing to show for it. Except Pogba, we didn't have nothing to show for it. A lot of Lindelofs and Dale Blind and all type of foolishness. But we never have nothing to show for it. I feel like Arsenal is in the exact same position right now. You're spending money here and there, but there's nothing to show for it. Where they have a great quarter, they're going to take this team so far.
Well, the problem Arsenal have is that they can't spend the sort of money where United can, because they don't have the same kind of commercial deals. So United can spend and get away with it. When Arsenal spend 70 million on workout, it is catastrophic, right? So that's the next issue,
Yeah, that's politics. That's politics.
Yeah, Black, you mentioned that some Arsenal supporters think that was the wrong position to spend money, and I have to disagree because David Luiz is at the end of his career. They needed was to go young in that position, and Ben White is a young man that been getting a lot of credit, a lot of recognition, even when he was in the championship. Obviously, this is only one game, so we have to give him at least an entire season to
Well,
see how we perform.
no, agree. And I am not saying he's a bad player. I'm just saying the consensus of Arsenal supporters was that it was the wrong place the money was spent. The priority of the spending
midfield
issue there, so not necessarily that the player is terrible, because I think that this young man can develop into a great player, but is he what Arsenal needed? He can.
He can become a decent player, but not say great player, brother. Just a great.
Oh God!
You got too far.
Listen, so yeah, we spoke about this the other day. We talk about that footballers kind of move away from just the eye test alone. And when you talk about underlining statistics for defenders in the Premier League, this guy is rated as one of the best in terms of how he bring the ball out of the box, progressive carries. Yeah, go look up the metrics. That's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about just the eye test alone. I'm talking about these are the things that the people are using to buy players more and more right now.
Yes, Blacks, but
underlining statistics say that he's one of the better players.
Yeah, Blacks, but I don't know the time period they track him for, and the problem is when they play with the next alongside two other good defenders. You understand? Down at Brighton the year before, like I said on the blog, the year before,
it was from then.
It was Lewis Dunk that everybody wanted to sign. You understand? So I was surprised when everybody know they say Ben White is a good defender. You understand? No, he had a good season playing alongside the Lewis Dunk. And what the next one named Duffy, I think that's his name. But they have a good system there. I have an organized manager.
But technically, he had a better season when he was in the championship. So which is where all of his things. And last year, a lot of people say he wasn't the best defender at Brighton. His numbers and the tracking that has been coming from him are actually moving from the championship. That's where they're actually looking at these numbers and say, we think that he has the potential to be X, which is the same reason why Liverpool looked at him. It's the same reason why City had looked at him last year. And Brighton said, no, we're not selling him to anybody at all. We're going to keep him. You know?
You know what the problem? You know what the biggest problem in English football blocks?
Huh?
You know what the biggest problem in English football blocks? One of the biggest problems in English football for a lot of clubs sometimes is that there's so much more value out there in the international football, and with us stuck in this England thing. Yo, the defender where Liverpool get, your team get, is a 10 times better defender for Ben White. Yeah, that's all I have to say. You know, and how much do you pay? $25-30 million.
How
much do you pay for Konate?
35 or something like that.
I mean, playing a Champions League proven defender.
You know, that may I try to tell you is that there's so much more value on the open market. Ruben Diaz, the man named by Ruben Diaz from City by Ruben Diaz, come in, hit the ground running. It's a lot of defenders out there, brother. Ben White was not the biggest option. $50 million.
Again, it's not that I'm saying that he is great, but there is an argument for him, and there's an argument. You see, Brentford right now, who just beat up Arsenal. One of the things that they have done with statistics, using these metrics, they have used it to recruit from the lower levels to a speed that they are. I think that they brought in who are they brought in? Marpe. What are the players? Shane wasn't one of them who followed through them over the last couple of years for under $10 million, and they sold all these players for over $100 million, almost. You know, because of using these same statistics. So that's what teams are doing right now. Arsenal is trying to jump into the same thing. And that's why they kind of look at a player like Ben White and say, if we look out for the next 2-3 years and him build out his talent, we're going to have this X player who's going to value more than the $50 million. Again, you may say it wasn't what was needed right now, and there are other areas which they should have concentrated on. But just did not fact that they buy him to me by itself is not a terrible thing. You know,
do you know that
is a bad thing, though.
Did you know that somebody actually said Ben White is a bigger sign than Rafael Varane? Did you know that an English person actually said that in the actual media itself?
I can see why they make the argument. I wouldn't agree, but I can see the argument.
Well, no. But you see, the thing is that we agree. Hold on. But you see, the thing is that this is the problem with English media, English football sometimes. A lot of protection. You know, a lot of protection between the media and them overhype a lot of English players sometimes to give them additional, you know, whatever. And that's the problem. To me, Ben White is just another overrated English player. That is just my few cents. You know, and that is just what me believe in. And the same thing. For example, Hurricane don't come at training, don't show up for whatever. Paul Pogba miss one game or doesn't even say one to leave, them kill him in the media. That is the difference of the English media and them over them own players. And that's why you have the English tax. $80 million for Harry Maguire, but $44 million for Rafael Varane. That's what I'm telling you. English tax is a hell of a thing here. And Ben White is overrated.
Well, there's a reason for the English tax. So let's not act as if there's not a reason for it. There's one, because it's homegrown, so they do want to have their local players on their team. But the second part about it is that a team can only have 17 international players on their side. So if you're gonna spend the money on an English player, you would want to get the ones which are better, who actually can play in your side, because the fact that you have to have a team with at least 8 of them registered. So from that alone, so just knowing that every time you go and try to get one, people are always gonna say, "Oh, you have to pay a little extra," because you have to have at least 8 of them on your team if you lose one spot in Champions League. So there is a logics behind it. It's not just English alone. They have to kind of do it, and because other teams know that they have to do it, then the second part about it. The second part. And yes, I understand that. There are not a talent out there in Europe and across the world. But that money in the Premier League also need to circulate between the lower clubs in the Premier League who are actually building that Premier League pyramid. And if you keep going out and buy players and so that money don't fall back down there, then you're gonna have a crumble league at some point. Because if Brighton not getting enough money and Leicester, the underlying infrastructure go at some point start to crumble. So I don't have no problem with them paying when they play a local club that extra money. I think that is something that is actually good for the overall league, and it should happen.
That is fine though. But the problem is that we have said this, but the two clubs who dominate the Premier League now, when they talk about Liverpool and City over the last couple, and now Chelsea as well, a lot of majority of the actual players they have been bringing in as actually been international players. So is idea determined if you want to support the league or you actually want to win the league. If Arsenal or whoever want to support the league, or right now support the league then and finishing on the mid-table. Because as much as we talk about City just trying to drag Village $100 million, before that, they were signing Kevin De Bruyne and them for like $30-40 million. Why everybody's over here paying all this inflated prices, they was building up a massive squad minimum money.
They went and signed Sterling off 6 years ago for 50 million also. So they do go out and get it. They went and get John Stones for 50 million. They did go out and get players for that money too.
But majority of their squad is not English grown players. The majority of the squad is actually a lot of overseas players for very affordable prices.
The majority of no squad need to be English grown, but the fact of the matter is you have to have at least 8 English grown players on your side for you to register. If not, to lose a Champions League and just a place.
Yeah, and what you have to say to that that the market is inflated now. JR, the market is inflated. So if you say no, this again the 50 million you pay for Sterling. When did they sign Sterling? It was like 2014,
14 or 15, somewhere around there.
54 million they pay for him.
Exactly. So I think it's kind of the same thing. I think that's the sort of money we pay for the 100 million we pay for Grealish now is kind of around the same thing with inflation. That is how the market this.
It's actually less than Sterling money now because Neymar when the Neymar them double up the money, it's actually less to cost to pay for Grealish with the inflation.
You have to take some blame too, JR, because man, you mess up the market with Pogba.
Absolutely.
So next subject. Let's go. The only thing I'll say though about Ben White is that again he's a young player. And when you spend this sort of money, what you don't need is what you do need. Like it'll be good if you spend this sort of money when somebody like David Luiz. And we love to laugh at David Luiz, but David Luiz is a good player and he experienced. So you'd like to have a player who have experience, who have won things and can coach him too. Because it's gonna be difficult times. and he get wholly abuse. And I kind of see him hanging his head, and it'll be difficult for him because I money when Ghana, and he kind of abuse when go get, and he kind of the kind of
Expectations high.
huh? Where's
The expectations high because of the price tag.
is high. So it's difficult. It's a difficult place to him. You know what I mean? And he have to be mentally tough. That is something Blacks what the numbers now go say. But if he not mentally tough enough, that alone can mash him up in terms
That's
of
true.
outfit.
That's true.
Yeah. Make us switch over to the next conversation. But before we switch, all I can say, Kamavinga is over $30 million. Here's a good signing, Bojo. Call Edu and make him know what going.
He only want to go to PSG though. That's the problem.
Hey
Not
Shane,
gonna PSG.
I would say this. For the long term, Ben White will be a very good signing for Arsenal. He's how old is he? 21, 22? He's very young.
If his confidence and if he can get coach right, if he's confident, David, because depending it goes on confidence, it goes on if you can trust the people around you. You know what I mean? It's something that he need to have a partner and he need to have a coach who can help him through these tough times. Because every time he make a mistake, it's going to be pointed out. You know, so, and again, this club is in a difficult place. I don't think that anybody wants to play at home at Arsenal right now because it's a difficult place, volatile fans and all. It's going to be tough. It's toxic. Yeah, so you have to have real character. Next subject, man.
Yeah, next subject.
Please. Can't believe him and them spend 30 minutes to talk about Arsenal. I'm going to say
It's a big club. It's a big club.
2 minutes, me say. I want to take 30.
It's a big club, man.
Anyways, Saturday games. I not remember who played the first game. But
wasn't that Manu?
red side.
Red side.
Which year I got?
David, go ahead, David.
David, tell us about Manu, David.
Well, look. The game itself. When we go back to last season, when Leeds United came to Old Trafford, the result is very similar to what occurred last Saturday. And you will think that the Leeds United coach would have made some adjustment, which he chose not to. He stick with the style of football that he believed it would be more successful. And let's be honest, he's right, because Leeds United came into the Premier League last season and they finished in the top 10. So we cannot just look at that game with Manchester United Saturday and even last year and criticize the coach that much. I know that's what Ricky did when we had that discussion about the result, but it was a good game.
21 and 21.
Yes, look. Pogba had 4 assists. The pass to Greenwood was off the chart. Very nice pass to Greenwood, and the finish to the far right corner was just clinical,
delicious,
and of course Bruno had a very good game. The whole team had a good game. Fred,
that's beautiful stuff right there, David. Beautiful stuff.
Yeah, when Fred score, you just know that's
that's their day.
That's it.
That's their day. They had a
yeah, pretty much.
Go ahead. Go ahead,
JR.
JR, go ahead. What's your boss?
The big side, the Reds, the Devils.
Wow.
All right, hear me. So I'm calm down, so I can make sure I have a very good, honest and no bias outlay.
Come on, just talk wherever you want to talk.
Let me hear the passion, man. Let's talk it.
Hear me out now. All right, so from a realistic standpoint, not surprised by the result. As David said, we beat Leeds last year 6-2. Same thing, right? So the difference is that you have to understand you cannot get too taken aback, taken away by this result. But that's the first thing as a United fan, because we haven't won or achieved nothing by this result. So that's the first thing you want to get out there. Start of the season, it's a very good start to the season, especially when you're taking consideration that no Rashford didn't play, no Sancho barely play, no Varane, who else never did here?
Marshall.
Somebody.
Cavani.
No, Marshall play, man. Cavani. There we go. No Cavani. So when you think about the fact that we didn't even start with best possible side, we get a 5-2 result. It's a very positive start to the season as a United fan compared to the previous season. Last year,
5-1 result.
Yeah, last year we didn't actually have such a positive start to the season. For the last 2 years. The next point I want to make up, and just to round up what David said, even though we beat Leeds also 6-2 last year, this was a different type of performance. That is the truth, because I watched that Leeds game last year when we won 6-2, and that game could have actually finished 6-5 or 7-. We could have actually lost that game. So when they put this press, this was by far a more controlled, a more mature performance compared to the 6-2 last year. Leeds just was very squanderous last year. That is the reason why that game actually the result overhyped what the game really was last year. This year, I can only sit back right now and remember, obviously, Haaland scored a very classic goal, right? But outside of that, I don't think Leeds, Rafinha missed one attempt, but outside those 2 attempts right there, I don't think Leeds actually have any type of major opportunity throughout that game. So it's a way more controlled performance, way more mature performance. And as I said, we have a lot more to bring forward to this season. As a United fan, very positive start. I don't want to read too much into it because football is about consistency and you want to be realistic. You don't want to say, win 5, we are going to win the league, because as you know, the EPL is no joke. Because at the end, January, if a lot of people remember when January started last January 2021, Manchester United was actually top of this Premier League. And was leading City by almost about 4 or 5 points. And by the time 3 or 4 games after that, we was down by City by about 4 to 5 points. So the EPL is a very rough league to actually win. So it's a very good start. Be positive. Understand we have a lot more things to get better at, but we don't want to read too much into it as a United fan. But hopefully the positive performance continues.
Well, there's one thing also. Leeds played without their defensive mid. And Calvin Phillips
wasn't there.
Calvin Phillips wasn't there, and it shows whenever a team don't play with one of those players have that obvious quality. It shows, and that's why Pogba and Bruno have so much room to do all the things that we know they can do. And if you have players who give them the space and don't close them down, don't do the necessary work, they will. David talk about that pass to Mason, but the first pass that Pogba made, that one touch when he give to Bruno for Bruno's first goal, was something special. It was one touch right from Bruno. Bruno just took it down and then can slot it home. But again, if you don't have the Calvin Phillips inside the middle layer, you needed to change your approach, because I don't think the personnel that Leeds had were able to play with Pogba and Bruno in a midfield. So they were supposed to. I don't mind Leeds play. I love Leeds play. I don't care if they lose by 9.
Exactly.
The same thing. Southampton have a same type of DNA there sometime where they will lose by 9 and then win by 5 right after. I don't mind football like that. Actually, that's what I love about football. That's what I want to see. I hate this all lock it down like Tuchel and all these guys play football. I want to see the other type of game. So I am very happy, especially if it's not my team getting beat up. Yeah. So from that perspective, I'm very happy. But again, I think Calvin Phillips, if he had played, the game could have been a little bit different. I think if this game also play again the end of the further down the season when they return, I expect Leeds to play the same way, but have a better result. And I don't expect it to happen again like this. So I cannot show the overall results. Manchester are gonna beat Leeds 5-1 again. But again, it's the first game of the season. I love it, man. That's how you should play football, man. That's how football should be played.
It's 2 Leeds players had rubbish games. So Cock and Rafinha. Rafinha was bad, even from a defensive standpoint. What Man United, I mean, no, the fans be very, very should about the performance, but it's that you're not going to win the league. It's because they're not going to approach Man United like this, right? So you need to think about is how do you break down teams or go sit back. And you'll have more teams that do that against Man United. And that is where Man United has struggled, right?
But
and try. We said
Me say, is not why they buy Sancho.
You buy Sancho and that will help. Yes, and you buy Sancho and that's what I on the blog today say down the right where Wan-Bissaka wasn't isn't the best offensive. You have a serious offensive threat down the right from Sancho. So again, it's a good performance. We have you understand what I mean? You have black caveat that you have to look on. And again, good performance out of Pogba, good performance out of Fernandez. You know, very good performance out of Greenwood. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of things to be optimistic about.
Greg, I'm gonna use them Wi-Fi.
Yeah,
Greg.
but you see the thing also I want to add is that you see the only thing United only has 2 positions right now to become a very elite team. A number 6 and a true number 9. And you see if we ever get those 2 positions, we ready to compete with any team in the world. That's just me.
So what is Cavani? He's a false nine.
He's here, but he's not going. Cavani is not going to play 90% of your actual games for the season. He's more like maybe like a 55-60% of the games. You know, and that is the next thing. Well, man, I really thought, man. You know, Cavani have a history of injuries, you know, man. We have to be realistic, you know. Obviously, but I want Cavani to play every single game. That would be ideal for me as a United fan. But realistically, as we saw last season, a lot of games, them, you know, come on, take him off, leave game early, whatever. So now the next position, which is very important, is a number 6, because as they realized that Pogba was actually playing left wing. And in order for Manchester to reach the peak of where they need to be, they need to be able to have a number 6 where can play Bruno and Pogba in the middle of the park. That is where I feel like some Man United that actually provide them best. And you know, because the thing is what we provide, the problem we're going to see now is this. If Rashford come back, right? If you have Sancho, Rashford, Mason, Cavani, all these people, where exactly we're going to play these players if you're going to put Paul Pogba in the middle of the pitch? Are we going to continue with Mark Fred in the middle of the park? You know, these are some questions which we're going to have whenever somebody
I think that is what I want to do. Yeah, I think that's what I want to do. I think you want to have a base 2 of
exactly.
McTominay and Fred. Whoever the 2 midfielders are. You know what I mean? I think if him buy an ex defensive midfielder number 6, I think he'll be 2 in there. You see me I said JR.
Yeah.
What I told Ricky though, let me tell Ricky, you see I have a true number 9. I told Ricky if I was your coach, I would have give Greenwood the first 6 games, no matter what. Give him the first 6 games, make him play as a number 9 and see where you get out time. You see me I say? Because he looks like him can be a true number 9 fool. I mean,
yeah,
so
absolutely.
We attack Greenwood.
Give
him is the best number 9.
Well, that's what it is. But I said that before the season started. Say I would give him the first 6 games, no matter how in form look, and just make him play and see how he can get on. That's what I said, because that's the only way you're gonna know if he can really do it. Not convinced by Martial playing up here, not convinced by Rashford, because I just don't feel like
sell Martial, man. Sell them for sell.
Again, that's your personal opinion, but I'm just not convinced that they can do it. You know what I mean? Week in, week out at this point. You know what I mean? But it's.
I mean, have to say, when we sell out all of them players with JR and we sell out, we're gonna use a stack 11 go play every league.
No, we need, but just either Jesse or Tony have to leave the club.
Listen to me, now, man, brother. If the whole of the man then can stay up on the team, the man then for stay and fight for them game.
But voila,
bro,
report say the man say man you not buy no player unless them sell. That's the problem, you know?
Bro, we in a 5 to 4, at least 4 competition, bro. We can't use this 111 like we Liverpool used for 2 years straight. And you see them burn out, then can't use that no more, bro. We can't do that. We have to have at least a flexible 15 players to 18 players what we can use. So we can say, all right, if Pogba pick up a knock, we can slot in somebody where we can say, yeah, I'm going to give you the same product but Pogba going to give. Might not be the assist and all that, but at least I'm going to give you that same end product. When we sell out everybody now, who out there, just think about it, who really out there right now where we can go put on our money pan and I go come change the system, change the team. Who out there, bro? I still look for the player.
Number 6. I don't care.
Brother, I
Where
want to
you get it from.
keep on
you need to
talk
buy
about number 6. Where is the good number 6? Where?
Honestly,
Where
personally,
let's
right now,
stop it. Let's stand our Lego Dini. Let's stand our Lego none of them number 6 them. Just think about the logic side, no, brother.
Personally, if you tell me right now, say me could sell Marshall and Lingard and get an actual number 6. I swear to God, if they give me 80 million, I'll find a number 6 in the world. It doesn't matter who.
But who them gonna get?
United, all right, watch out. How much you think you can pay for like somebody like an NDD? Even if you say they're not selling, but for $90 million, they will actually look into something like that. For $90 million of NDD.
You go put on $90 million for go buy a 6, brother.
No, but may I ask a question? You know, so the number 6 position. You know, so the number 6 position in a modern day football is one of the most important positions in modern day football now.
Listen to me about this, bro. Listen, let's do what me have to say. Manu,
I have too much attack.
Manu problem right now at this stage. Manu problem right now at this stage. It's not really a number 6, bro. Our problem was no matter how much goals we can score, we are letting goals easy. We see we coach put 5 defender out there and we give up 2 goals in a 3 minutes. 3 minutes to 4 minutes against thing there in a Champions League.
You can get Vidal.
Get to Vidal, man. Brother, what may I say though? When you think about the logic side, for sell all of them players, you know, right? So you're gonna sell Jesse, sell Marshall. You're gonna give up 2 potentially good players who actually can forward off of the bench or fill in a slot for change some type of play. For your number 6, we might forward in, right? We might forward in for complete through the whole season. That not gonna happen, my brother.
Let me ask you a question.
We're not gonna find that.
And then Jesse there at the club last year. How much him play? And
bro, Jesse there got 2 mental problem, JR. Jesse headpiece never right, dog.
You know, say the same thing about again this year. Let me show you something. Yeah,
Jack Grealish, there was some tackling girl that issue about him never.
No man, the man family shit. Shit, the man grandmother or somebody did. You see, yo, wow, this is a scandalous, bro.
yo,
scandalous.
Boy, nobody scandalous real, man.
Yeah, man, that's scandalous, man.
Man, with me, man. Your man said no. Phil Jones can play for
Shane, no fuck up the football. You know, say she got breed for Jason Derulo.
Are you serious?
And she got breed for Jason Derulo.
Yeah,
it's really crazy, bro.
Yeah, how we get there?
Why next game now? Why next game?
Wrong topic. Keep moving. Football.
Next game, Bojo.
Next game. Next topic.
Yes, the Biko asked you a
No,
question.
Scott cannot be that player. I could just rule that out for the slate front now.
What do you mean? He's been playing well, bro.
Scott is a brilliant player, JR.
Well, JR, you know what? Give him that.
Hold on. Scott is a very good player with another player beside him.
Yeah, but that's how only player.
Hold on, man. How much by the end of the season? Yeah. Man United, we can put this out there for now. And a man spit that video right now and tell it. Man United not winning nothing if Fred and Scott McTominay are starting in the middle of the park for 12. I can put that on my life right now. We not in no Premier League with Scott McTominay.
You sound worse than Bojo, honestly.
You can't say that, bro. You can't say that, bro.
What do you mean, bro?
Say that, dog. You can't say that, bro.
Yeah, that don't make no sense.
That don't make no sense there. That don't make no sense, bro.
Manchester United, right now, if we could break down all the Premier League teams and talk about their weaknesses, because all teams have some weakness. City doesn't have a striker. Manchester United have a better striker than City. That's a fact.
That's a fact. That's true. That's true. That's honestly true.
So let's go. Defense. Who have a better defense right now? No, that's not Varian and Maguire. Do they have better one than City have? I think
me would have said Diaz and Stones because they've already played a season together.
The defense. When you put in the defense of Wan-Bissaka and the offense of Shaw, you have a better defense than City.
Hold on. We're not gonna go into details of every single thing.
No, but we're not
No, We can't win a
People,
cup, but
what makes me can't win the
or
league?
something.
We
Me
give it
not
time.
take no excuse for no Man United supporter. Go with
can't-
that. Come on for the
Yeah, we
life with that.
can't win the league. We can't
No
win the league,
excuse.
bro.
On a can't spend $1 billion and tell me so you can't win the league. Top 10, on a top 5 player in every position in the league. And tell me you can't win the league except one position. On a top 5 player.
I really talk black. I really talk black.
Player.
I really
One.
talk black.
No, hold on.
Hey,
Foolish, man.
Blacks.
Black,
JR
hold
not
on.
The man
edging
want 100 million. He want 100 million
Hold on,
player.
Black.
JR not edging bet.
Ridiculous.
Hold on, Black.
100 million player in
Hold on,
every
Black.
position.
Hold on, the man. Scott and Fred is not top 5 in nowhere. And to me, hold on.
That's
hold
the
on,
one
hold on,
position.
hold on.
That's the one position instead.
Top 5 player.
Me glad when I say this now. Because this is the problem when I say when I have 2 man at the 1 man position. And that me keep on try to tell you no. If you have one number 6, 2 of them going and if they're on the field, because 2 of them barely make one. And that me keep on try to tell you no. And so
Lie.
I try to tell me this.
Hey,
If I have a good
push
number
the
6,
rest of them and tell him say lie.
me I tell you, oh yeah, I tell me say one of them have
JR chip in and chip out.
Again, the
JR
question is, Manchester United, I dare you to tell me, say, there's only one position on the field. They don't have a top 5 talent. And it's defensive midfield. And you tell me, say, they don't have a chance to win the league. Man, if I that you come with, man, better go to bed, man.
I never hear me I say. What is what me I say? The problem is not, you know. The problem me I try to say is that the first way to play Scott or Fred to do a Conte, for example, do for Chelsea by himself, or Rodri do for Man City, for example, whatever.
Rodri's not that good. Rodri's not
Greg.
better than McTominay.
That's true, Greg.
Let me finish, no, man. But listen to me I say. What me I try to say is this. If you have one in another position here, because we haven't played the 2 of them, now we push Pogba to the left. Now when time Rashford come back, he's a 20 plus goal player for the season. Him can't play now because Sancho go play on the right and Cavani go play up front. So now we put the man on the bench. For bench, come here, me I say, we have bench all the player here for play Scott and Fred in the middle of the park. But Pogba is one of the best midfielders in the world and can't play in the middle of the park. That's my problem, you know. My problem is that so we don't have the talent, you know. But these 2 players right here so cause such an imbalance when you can get one person to do the job.
That's how you coach have to play, JR.
But
Even
listen,
if you
man.
get N'Golo Kante tomorrow, I still think he go play.
Still gonna play 2.
Go play 2 in there.
Yeah,
He's gonna do it. He's gonna do it.
That is what, because I think in nature, if he be defensive.
So what I tell me say, when time Rashford come back and Rashford, Sancho, Greenwood and all them there, one of them must start?
Yeah, most likely. Or he go try to put back. I don't know. I don't see.
Him a go slot Pogba right beside either Fred or McTominay.
I think
Bro,
that's why
it's yo. We are talking about something what we're gonna see gonna happen. We'll see if it's not like so we now see future, you know, bro. You know what that him gonna do. He's going to do it. So no matter it no matter how much we try for no matter if we go there get a Kante right now, I'm gonna put Pogba beside a Kante. So if we go there go get NDD, I'm gonna put Pogba beside a NDD. No matter who, if we get a good, no matter who we go get, him going to put Pogba beside of them.
But
because I saw him want play.
You remember when Ole just come at the forward of the club? I remember he usually play Matic as a 6. Herrera usually play box to box, and then Pogba is a play the 10. No, that is what me envision as a United from middle tree. That is what me think so we supposed to play. But me feel said don't have the personal free. Me feel said forget a number 6, we will actually make the modification.
Bro, Bruno changed all that number 10 idea from Pogba, bro. Bruno changed all that thought from out of Ole head. You see me? Him not think about Pogba playing in no number 10 role. Him already have Bruno for that's a done for.
Bojo, let's go to the next topic because 1 hour and 23 minutes gone. About the next topic.
Yeah, man. Find next team.
So 2 games and nearly an hour. Wow.
Come on, we can just touch on it. We can just touch on the game them for
no, we just gonna run through some of my game them since we talk about the time right there. Wolves Leicester 1-0.
1-0.
Never watch it.
Didn't see the game, so
yeah,
Leicester look all that promising, but you can't say yo. Them play the game for win. Them play the game for at least get a result. You understand? Meaning Brendan Rodgers set up a team because How him start? How him start a left back? Brother name
Luke,
from
Luke.
Southampton. No man. A Bertrand in no Ryan Bertrand didn't start.
No, Bertrand didn't play. I think he's sick.
Hold on.
Yeah, so Luke Thomas, I
Yeah.
think played.
Luke Thomas him start, the white boy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
May have funny thing is may have Bertrand on my fantasy team and in a play. I didn't know he was sick. That's all I know. It's
Yeah,
sad.
give me your answer question.
Why question?
Yeah.
Y'all keep talking about Pogba at Juve. Where did he play at Juve? Well, he definitely never played at the base. So, but you see, the thing is that then in my Vidal, I have Perlo on him. So when you talk about that, he might have played slightly more advanced of the three of them. You see what I say? So the thing is that at United right now, based on what Kush ever say, it look like say Pogba gonna play the right defensive midfielder, no?
You know, if you explain, him just want to answer the question.
Are you
Everton.
More for advance.
Everton forward from there, they went a goal down and then forward back and win 3-1.
Yeah. Just like I said, yeah, they win.
It's a good win for Everton. It's a good win for Everton because their fans not really too tough for them them higher.
But remember me did tell you to say Everton they're not gonna win that game now because Richarlison a forward of a Copa on an Olympic on farm. He's on farm, bro. You can't take that away from the player. He's a forward on farm. Yeah, he might miss some chances, but
I'm a fan of Richarlison, as you well know. You understand? But towards the last part of last season, I was disappointed with him play.
He's not a fan of him. You have to just give credit where credit due.
He's a talented player.
Yeah. Very talented player.
For Southampton going forward, I don't know. It's a mixed bag. You understand? They lose their best player. You know what I mean? And
Late also. That's the problem about it.
Yeah, and then they lose Bednarik, who was a rock for them. You know what I mean? In terms of a centre back. So you look on them and maybe they have to go into the transfer market and try to get a wee bit of loans. You know what I mean? Maybe a Loftus Cheek, somebody like that. You know what I mean? Midfield. But them need players and they probably need a next striker. I don't know where you go get a striker if you're Southampton.
The brother, them go get them have Armstrong. Armstrong and Adams them use.
Armstrong is not he's forwarding from the championship. I saw him a few times last year because I was watching the young boy from Liverpool.
Yeah.
So he is a good striker. So I do expect him to make up for that goal that they missed with the Ings. I don't think it's gonna be some of that, but it's
so you say you're comfortable with rolling with him and Che Adams serious side?
No. I think they still need some more help, but I don't think so.
Yeah. He's a good link-up player. Remind me of Emil Heskey. You know
the problem I think happening with them is that again it's because of how late the transfers happen. I think which is gonna affect them. If the coach had gotten these players earlier on in the preseason, get her to work with them, you know, I think it would have been better for them overall. But the fact that you lose two players who you probably were depending on for the coming season and lose them right a week before the season starts, that can't be good for a team.
You lose your good left back. Yeah. That was a damn good left back.
So I think that's gonna be the biggest issue with them. So I'm seeing again where they're probably gonna get battered sometime 1 and 2 times before in the first half, and hopefully they recover for the second half. Because they're a good team, and I think they're a Premier League team. But right now, I don't think that squad is good enough to be a Premier League side. They're probably in trouble as it stands right now. Yeah.
All right. Speaking of,
to be fair though, with the left back coach, the kid what they signed from France, Romain Perron, he's supposed to be a good player. So
yeah, he may look bad.
Yeah, he's supposed to be.
I
think he's playing at the under 20 something, under 23 or something. He's supposed to be a good player. I don't know. I don't have all the answers.
All right.
Next
game.
Move on.
Next game.
One of the newly promoted team shocked me because I put my money on Villa for win, but Watford slap Villa.
What? Yo, me actually watch a match, bro. Watford play some football,
You
brother.
know watch it, cause
Watford, hey, the Liverpool, brother, what them we don't want get.
sir,
Islam Assad.
Bojo,
you
Bojo,
drop some leather, man.
Bojo. The man are not the normal lag. Yo, the man that's a taker and defender, bro. And then he catch up on the island, quick like him. Yeah, man. I don't know now, man. Even though the goal them scores at deflection, but
He deserve it.
Blacks. The run alone, he deserve it. Yeah, man.
Former Manchester United great Tom Cleverley. I am the captain. I see him. He was the captain for Watford because Dini was out.
You know who?
How did he play?
Cleverly have a. May I tell you the type of ball I almost view Cleverly as. I'm not gonna say Milner because Milner achieves so much, but it is like a Milner role player. You see me?
He's a good tidy player. He's a good tidy player.
Him go dead it no matter what. And you can see say Watford put the captain upon him because you see me leadership, which is right.
But when I
Cleverly
drop
some ball, man. I'm not gonna lie.
One of the good thing about Watford team is that they went down to the championship and they didn't lose a whole lot of their core. They kept a lot of their core together, you know. And so most of the players they played in the Premier League, they went and they fought and they came back up. So from that perspective, you expect that there's some continuity. It's the same thing with even Leeds. Leeds didn't go through that but the same team was together for about 2 to 3 years moving up. So when you have a good coach, good system, you play same system, and the players are relatively good, you can when they get back there, I think they're gonna be more prepared for more than last time that they were here. So I expect Watford to actually most of the prediction I have seen actually have both Brentford and Watford staying in the Premier League this year. Most of the predictions that I've seen, they have both of them staying up this year, and I would agree with that.
All right. On the other flip side, me think it's disappointment in on the Villa side. Cause me actually expect Villa to win that game there.
Yo, Villa not start the game right, man.
Again, it go take them a while for blending in new them the whole host of new players, right? I said that it was good to see Bailey Ford off a bench had an assist, right? Again, it go take them a while for
all right, Shane.
Yeah.
Villa system is you see when them put on Bailey, them put Bailey in the Ashley Young position. So that means that them take off Matt Target and put Ashley Young a left back.
Left back, yeah.
Right? I think them should either just start with that system. Either use Ashley Young a left back or you go to 3-5-2 where you can spread the field with them and still use Bailey in a higher position. But
I was surprised to see how they win a play Ashley Young further up the pitch.
Yeah, because we never understand that. Understand that.
But as you say,
the type of talent when they have to push, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The guys is real and people like that. I just thought that. Exactly. So we see how, Birch and Cherry. We see how we go.
But Cherry come off a bench.
That's what I said. So it go take them a while to figure out them best 11. And again, that's what I said the other day. Said that can take a while, brother. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But we see how we go because this league is unforgiving.
That is true. And I think that's going to be the issue with Villa. Again, how fast they get up to speed, I think is going to be the biggest thing for them. You can't. Bailey was at the club for less than a week before the first game. That even got on the field. Yeah, that even got on the field is amazing. For such a short time,
Get assist even and plus.
And plus, in come on and ready and assist.
Yo,
he was in my fantasy team because I don't expect him to play. Yeah, I don't expect him to play.
No, that's good for him, and that would be good for him mental. You see what I say?
Yeah.
And again, sooner than later, they have to put him on the pitch. I mean, I'm a fan of Ashley Young. I'm a huge fan of him. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
but I agree with the coach. And Target is a good player too.
Yeah, that's why I say it a challenging, it a real challenging for them because it's either them figure out a system or them just play Ashley Young and left back because
And
that's the only way I feel like them are gonna get a real good spell from Ashley Young and Bailey using both of them on that side. Me just have a shot.
Yeah.
And to me feel like him for start Chayori over Gas. It's just,
El Ghazi, no, you know what? No, El Ghazi a better player than Traore. He is a better player.
Cherry a baller.
I don't say no, but
El Ghazi confident than Chayori. Him is a more confident player. But Chayori overall, bro, top. Yo, Chayori a ball, a blacksman. Yo, the finishing and the touching where you gonna get from Chayori, you're not gonna get that from El Ghazi. As I'm gonna say, El Ghazi just confident for do the things them way him do. You see me? But Chayori a different type of player, man.
Yeah, Greg, it was interested that him play him off and left wing. You see me? And again, if you play him as a inverted winger, you're absolutely right. He always a look for shoot. You
That's
see
what
me?
you want him do.
Huh?
That's what me want him do. Cut in and shoot.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that mean him have to go play upon the right side then.
Yeah, then that's what I want him play.
But when he was at Sumner, he played all over the field though. When he was at Liverpool,
No, when him up on the left him play thing there.
He play football just like Sancho. You don't know where the hell they are. They're always over the field.
Because them can use them 2 foot action.
Yeah, man,
them can really use them 2 foot.
Which is I think what I always like about Jordan Sancho for the same reason, because he's just everywhere. He not like he not like where the ball. When the ball he run down there.
Yeah, because Kush, even though him play upon the left, him cut one upon the right and shoot, and the lick thing there in him face,
Yeah, but see that one there. But see that one upon the highlight, Bojo. Yeah.
Yeah. So either flank them put him, I see a difference. But would I rather them play him on the right and make him shoot more.
Yeah. Makes sense.
All right. Next game. Brighton win. I think Brighton win 2-1, right?
Yeah, Brighton come back.
Them beat Burnley.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good for them.
I wonder if Burnley go struggle this year. Every year. They don't spend no money. Absolutely no money, right?
So crazy Burnley start bright with a set piece in like 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Early.
Yeah, but I don't know, bro. I look at them and say, I wonder if they go struggle this year. At some point, this must catch up with them, so they're not really investing in his side. I see him kind of Sean Dyche. You have people like Chris Wood and these kind of players. It's just.
The problem with that same guy Chris Wood, because he's Australian, right?
Yes.
He was at the Olympics.
All right.
He played a whole lot of football. And maybe that's even one of the reasons why the second half they weren't able to fight the game how they should have. Him holding up the game, holding up the ball and keeping the ball, because that's how they play. Get it into Chris Wood and then he hold it up and then something happened from that. And the fact that he has played a whole lot of football over the summer, I think that's gonna affect them.
Me hear a pundit say something. I think I don't know if I pundit or if somebody might say I think no the role we are play in a Burnley with Sean Dyche is because him always bring up in the media. Back then I think about a year ago, he don't want to leave. And he always say, yo, you see me? He always want to leave Burnley, but no, actually, he might not actually want to leave this time. He might actually get sacked. In a middle of the season if Burnley are good. I think as a pundit me here, I say so.
Any crazy person at Burnley who believes that they can sack Sean Dyche and do better with the players what them have and with the budget what them have, that would be worse than the Barcelona management. Honestly, and I think they are the worst management in the world. That would be crazy.
They're not no players. Like it's a chap.
Exactly.
It's them finish with them supposed to finish
every year.
overachieve.
Yo, the man don't forget 36 points, bro.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
He knows how to do it.
yeah. And again, they not spend. They
But
have the
Bojo,
same.
so if him as a coach when I have when I say no, if him as a coach when I want to go out, they go spend and forget players.
I don't think
What
Burnley have the
sense?
money to
Me
spend,
not
bro.
think of him. Me not think of him no one.
I'm not in. They actually do have the money. That club doesn't have the money like that. I remember Tifa did a special on them, and they really just don't have the money. You know,
Good. From Burnley
they're
forward.
just the type of club.
What are the Blacks? From Burnley forward in the league. Like,
So
you
small.
remember them had no big transfer to get
No,
the money?
no. Burnley total net spend over the last 5 years is $27 million. Their net spend, their total, not per year, no. Over the last 5 years, their total net spend has been $27 million.
Mm.
That's amazing that they are still in the Premier League. Amazing.
Mm.
Yeah, like I said, me personally can't remember them spend the money
They don't.
or sell no players to get the money. So
Mm.
them basically broke.
They're not
And
broke,
then
but they're
still
responsible. They are
still
responsible
hard.
for ownership and responsible manage.
They
Get them
still
at
still
the baller from Barcelona.
on them, dog. Phil Bardsley from Sunderland, back in ideas.
We're
Go
gonna
ahead.
we're gonna move on. Chelsea, comfortable, smooth sailing, 3-0 victory.
Yeah.
Go on, Blacks, go on.
I was gonna. With Chelsea, I don't think that game was the issue. I think the big elephant in the room is the big elephant in the room in Lukaku, who's gonna eventually forward in. Again, you saw Chelsea was creating chances, more so than what they put away. That's what all of last year they did. They created a lot of chances and they didn't have
Timo
somebody.
Werner is back playing Timo Werner.
Yeah, so imagine now that team continue to creating these chances, what them creating over the last year, the last 7 months or so. And now Lukaku is the man who's going to be putting them away. It's going to be something to behold. I think Lukaku can actually score. He scored 25 goals more than once in the Premier League. I think that's going to be minimum from that team, from Lukaku, in my opinion. Yeah. He's going to get 25 goals. Easily.
Again, Marcos Alonso is a player I really rate. You know what I mean? Just a technically wicked player with that left foot.
He doesn't defend, but he's all right.
Yeah, but
that me just what I gonna say.
Yeah. But in terms of going forward, he's mad in a man. He's mad player. Yeah. I say, and I'm very happy, very chuffy, Trevor Chalobah. You know what I mean? If he get a goal and play well in the UEFA, whatever they call
Super
it.
Cup. Play well in Super Cup.
Yeah, them play very well and they reward him with a start and him score. You know, man, these are kind of things where dreams are made of, really. But, you know, going forward, it's a beautiful thing for your kid. You know what I mean? And again, it's good to see Pennsylvania's own Christian Pulisic score too. I'm a fan of Pulisic. I love watching him how him play. You know, fear that nothing, you know, fear anything. And I hope Saint can stay clear of injury. Because if he does, him always go have a spot in that side. Because that's good.
I think Ziyech injury kind of help Pulisic.
100%. You have great players over there. All of them are great players.
But it also was injury that pushed Pulisic out a bit last year too. So it's the same thing happened, man.
Yeah, man. See, the thing is, Pulisic is in don't hide at all, right? Like him always a try and he no fear nothing. So I rate that player just because of that. You know, so again, Chelsea have it tough to do.
Well, Lukaku had Hakimi last year on the wing. I would like to see how Marcos Alonso. I don't even know how much assists that. When you have these flying wingers and you have this big target in the middle of the field, a person who can cross the ball, I think it's a beautiful thing. And I just think that
you have Reece James
and you have Reece James on one side and Alonso on the next side who can get the ball to him.
Then Chilwell with the black slick back here.
Who can get the ball to him? So from that perspective, I'm excited to see Chelsea team. We're gonna crush them when they come to Liverpool, but I'm excited to see them.
All right. We have 15 minutes in the live, and we have about 4 games to go.
But you can't talk
Let's
about my
kind of
game.
make them shorter. Eh?
Let's talk about my game. What else?
All right. Yeah, your game we gonna get to actually. So if David have to leave, him have some sort of emergency. Yeah, but Liverpool. I don't think Liverpool will break a sweat. There were moments, but I think it was an easy day out for Liverpool.
Yeah, it was an easy day in the park.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't take a lot out of the game. Well, the best thing I took out of the game is that the fact that I saw Virgil van Dijk finish 90 minutes in a game. That's good. The other thing is that I think Salah is up for the fight again. He wants something. I mean, he like his individual awards, golden boot or whatever it is. He's up for the fight for it. I see he has that hunger in the first game. I saw Mane look like he's actually more engaged this game than he was the entire last season. So that's something that I'm kind of happy to see. Last year we played Robertson. They run him into the ground. They just run him into the ground. He's injured this year. And we had a left back who came in and he actually can play. Who would believe that? That you bought somebody and he actually can play football. He ran out of steam after about 60-something to 70 minutes. He ran out of steam. But the first 70 minutes what he gave us, you say that there's a player there. So yeah, it's good that you have somebody can one of the problems we have had with both Trent and Roberts is that we don't have anybody to play back up to them. You know, you have them and the drop off from them is so steep that it throws the entire team out of work. Yeah, man. So Milner there. Milner doesn't offer anything at all offensively like what they can do it. He plays with the wrong foot because he's normally a left back. He plays the wrong foot, so you don't get anything at all crossing with his left foot because he has to cut back on his right to cross it. It kills the entire game. So those are the only few things I'm kind of look on. Norwich probably should have scored one goal. The fact that we keep a clean sheet, I think that's a good thing. It will help the confidence of the players. You know, nobody got injured. Last year, by now, we'd have got probably one defender injured. The way we were happening last year. So from that perspective, it was, yeah, as Kush said, they didn't bust as well. It was an easy game. It's an easy schedule to start the first two games, in my view, because we are Burnley next week. So if you can win those two games, then we're going to the third game, which is Chelsea, with a little bit of momentum and a little bit of minutes under some people belt, you know. And I think that's what you're looking for, and hopefully nobody get injured. That's all I'm looking for.
Burnley are gonna rough you up next week, you know.
Well, good, but they kind of probably need it because Lukaku's a rough a week after that. So me rather Burnley try to do it now before Lukaku.
Try. Burnley not try. Burnley rough up people.
I'm always interested in that midfield because I love midfield players. So Naby Keita start, James Milner and Oxlade-Chamberlain start in that midfield. I mean, again, that is not your first choice midfield by any stretch of imagination. But what you want to do when those three start, you want to see if either Naby Keita or Ox can grab some time, you know what I mean, or can challenge the individuals who you feel like go play going forward. You understand what I mean? So I don't know how Naby Keita played because I didn't watch the game.
He wasn't bad. He played a very good game. Personally, from what I look at, he played a very good game. And I think he played well enough to actually hold his position for the next game.
That's what I'm saying.
That's why I look at it.
Well, the one thing you have to look on is, did he finish the game in a one piece, right? Because it seemed like every time he played more than 10 minutes, then he fall to pieces, like that great song back in the days. That's the problem, right? So that is the issue you have. So again, if he can stay fit, again, he's a body in a midfield, you know, and if he can stay on the pitch, you know, he will give our next player what can play if you know have Henderson or Cantara.
Somehow I believe Klopp is gonna change his approach this year. I know the last couple of years, he tried to play with the same three midfielder every game. Somehow I don't believe he's gonna try that this year. One, because he can't, because you don't have somebody like a Genie who never gets injured and who never needs rest, who never whatever. So, so you can write him in. And as long as Fabinho is not injured, which is always also very good record, you can write him in, and then it's just a matter of one other position. This year, because of Thiago's situation, Henderson's situation, Naby's situation, and Ox situation, I think he should know that he cannot play them every game. You know? So from that perspective, I don't suspect that we're gonna need Naby Keita to play 35 games.
Me have a question.
Yeah.
Wanna buy Thiago for putting him on the bench? I wanna just buy him.
When he was healthy last year, he played every game.
Yeah, it's injured.
When he was healthy, but he wasn't healthy all the game. And part of the thing is that when he was at Bayern, he wasn't playing all the games either. So maybe really truth is, if we can put it this way, if Liverpool get 20 good games from Thiago, 20 from Naby Keita, 20 from Henderson, and Fabinho being the main one playing all of the games, you are seeing where you full out the entire season.
I have to send a Soji number.
Keep them fresh and let them play. Well, I didn't hear that.
Well, yo, if you
send a Soji number.
If you get a dozen game for a Naby Keita, then you're
if you get half a dozen good games, that will be good. Because the truth is, the guys just were not there. But it's down to the coach. Will he rotate them? Listen, I've been talking from last week, and well, I've been talking for a little while now. The exciting thing I want about this Liverpool midfield, they tried that young boy Harvey Elliott in the midfield in the preseason. He is a player. He's gonna be doing some stuff in this league, and I expect him to actually have one of those that left midfield position. I expect him by the season reach midway. He's gonna be the player there. He's gonna have that left midfield position playing most of the games. Klopp still gonna go back to Fabinho, Henderson, and Thiago whenever we play Manchester City or Manchester United. But for the rest of the game, I expect to see that we have Elliott on the left and Naby Keita on the right for most of the other games. That's what I'm expecting to see.
Mr. Say, Tukami Minamino was on the bench. Is he gonna stay there?
I think so.
He should go back to Southampton.
Again, as it looks right now, Leon put in some money for Shaqiri, so we are expecting him to go. I just don't see Origi doing anything at all for us. And Takino Minamino actually had a very good preseason. So unless somebody come in with some money and say, actually, we want to buy him, he's not going anywhere. He's not going on a loan. He's not going enough for cheap. But if somebody come and say, oh, give me $15 million, Liverpool will sell him. Well, we know that. They will sell him if they get that for him. But apart from that, and I don't see anybody doing it, so he's going to be there.
You see anything from Ben Woodburn?
He, I believe me, played so well in preseason also. I haven't heard anybody coming through, but I expect him to go out on loan, and I expect him to get a good chance with somebody. Again, I think the championship is really his level still. I don't see him better than that. If somebody like Burnley could come and say, oh, we need a player and then willing to pay one good transfer, one good fee. He's a player who could play for one lower league, lower level Premier League side, but I think the championship is his level. But he looks really good the last 2 times I saw him in the preseason. Like, I wonder where was that? I didn't even know him. He was that good. I didn't know who he was. He was that good, man.
All right. 2 more games to cover. And
run it.
We are gonna go Newcastle first. Newcastle, West Ham.
Oh, I didn't watch that one, sir.
4-2? Yeah, I think 4-2.
Yes, 4-2.
Antonio missed a penalty, but luckily he had a player following up. But he got man of the match, right? I think a goal and 2 assists or a goal and an assist, something like that.
Or 2 goals and assists.
No, 1 goal and score.
Oh, I gotta run a 5K.
It was 4 different scores. But Newcastle for a minute. I think they led the game twice. I think so. Yeah, they led the game twice.
You watch that game, coach?
I watch the first half, honestly speaking.
Okay.
Just the first. Yeah. We end up on the road.
I mean, we don't have to go in details of it. We can take that time.
I didn't watch that game. I didn't watch it.
Brilliant.
Them start the game. Them start the game real bright. Them start the game real bright.
All right, here we go. The final game, Zin.
Yeah.
Talk about game. The Tottenham City game. And like I put forward, him have the floor.
The man even forward in a sky blue city replica.
Yeah, last game.
I don't
We
get
have
that.
5 minutes. We are closing short of 5 minutes.
Unbelievable.
5 minutes. Why?
Look how we have to go.
We have time.
You have the
man-
floor.
give the man a
Tottenham
platform.
City, you have the floor. Go on.
Who's that
Tell us
brother?
about it.
Brilliant from Young Min Song, Lucas Moura, Hoiberg. Bergwijn played decent. Tanganga had a brilliant game.
That's it. Tanganga was brilliant.
Even Sanchez Wildman.
Get Jack in check. Actually,
Step on him.
the biggest
blocks,
takeaway from
blocks.
this game for me, the biggest takeaway from this game for me is Jack Grealish. I think he's gonna be in a leash. Him playing in Pep system, and before this game, I actually, I was excited to see him go to City because I was like, yeah, go be brilliant. But after seeing this game, it's not gonna happen at City unless Pep decides to, change up his expectations for his players. Because ever since I've been watching Pep coaching, Messi is the only player that Pep has given freedom to do what he wants to do with the football on the field. Everybody else, you have to play in the system. Let the ball work. Grealish is not that kind of player. Grealish, the ball stuck to his feet, and he makes things happen. In a City system, you can't say it gonna be tough. Not saying it can't happen, but it's not what he's used to at Villa, and it's like what now? Big fish in small pond. Now I'm in a big pond. Let's see what happens.
Finding the Nemo.
That's big. That's my biggest takeaway from that game. Apart from the fact that I went out on a limb Saturday night and said that Son is better than Grealish.
But you know, there's one thing I needed to add, and I want to say it before we the thing that I took away from the weekend of football was the refereeing. We have complained a lot about referees over the last couple of years, especially
Beautiful
in
football.
England.
Especially Man U fans.
They allowed a lot of things to play in these games. A lot of times the referee tell the players when they try the flapping, get up and keep moving.
Especially the Tottenham game, bro.
Bewildered why he wasn't getting for the calls that he were getting before. I think sometimes they probably need to pull it back a little bit, but overall, the quality of refereeing and how they actually allow the game to flow, most of the games, it was way better. VAR didn't intervene and do some stupidness.
But Blacks.
For the most part, I like the changes what they made and the effect I saw in the games. I love it. I hope it continues.
Did you watch the Premier League live following up to the game?
No, sir, I'm going to ramp with Zane that time.
Okay.
The
referee, everybody have a talk about it. Them make sure Stamp say yo. The diving, them gonna start card about that instant.
Yes.
Them not joke about that.
Yeah, man.
You see me? Them say, you see me? They look out flapping where them are going with. Them not depend that. When me have to give them big respect about is this. Them say them are gonna give the offensive player the benefit of the doubt when it forward to the offside.
Yes.
And VAR. That's one rule when I say yes. That's a good change. Because no, them are gonna show you say, yo, if a player might offside by an inch and he go celebrate, then now the time for go check it. Them gonna just give goal.
They don't make the line bigger. That's how they make that big line, which is an imaginary line. So there's no way for you to definitively say it. So they should have never been doing that.
Thank you. So
and
that's
the
all.
thing they clearly says that contact doesn't mean foul. It's a contact sport. Because there's contact doesn't mean that there's a foul, It's a contact sport, And so again, I say I'm hoping that this is something that continue doing the work. I know sometimes they change something, but then they kind of revert to them old self.
Yeah, them guys back to them
I'm
old
hoping they
self.
continue.
Shane want to continue with the game.
Yeah, but he need to unmute himself first if you want to do that.
He's getting bored.
Yeah, no. No, it's good. It's good. But the only thing is that when you do these kind of things, there is gray areas. Like when you say we go give the offensive player the benefit I doubt with offsides, how much of the offsides you'll give the benefit I doubt of, right?
No, all right.
Them,
For
no,
example,
them say
Shane.
marginal
Them
call.
I say,
Like
them I say, all right.
and the Anna and them little thing there.
Yeah, them look a
Okay.
slight little thing the arm, I look a piece of eel or your hand, the upper
Yeah,
body or
but one went against Arsenal because that tackle on Balogun. We look at the replay. That should have been a penalty.
Well,
Or
yeah.
the ball what Callum Chambers clear will actually go out.
But again, Greg said that, but I hear a conversation on the blog today. Somebody has said it was different and it wasn't a penalty. And secondly, one of the things is that, and what I appreciate is that whenever it's such a controversy where you have multiple people that are different things, I want it to be non-penalty. If there's such a conversation against it, then no penalty.
Blacks, Ricky was comparing it to one in the West Ham game that West Ham got penalty for.
Which
He
I
was
think should
saying
be a
that-
penalty. It should
he
not
was
have been a
saying no.
penalty.
He was
That
saying
wasn't
that
a
it was
penalty.
similar-
That was not a penalty.
I didn't
but
think
there
it was.
Blacks, there was a difference between that and the West Ham one. The West Ham one, the West Ham player didn't see the Newcastle player coming. So the West Ham player just turned and a swing to clear the ball. With the Brentford and Arsenal, the player Sibalagan actually running.
Yo, the Arsenal one was more of a penalty than the West Ham.
Yeah,
The West
and
Ham one,
got
the
penalty
man
for it.
kick your ball upon the man foot. The Arsenal one,
the West Ham one,
the follow through,
ball, so that's probably
the follow
why
through,
we didn't.
follow through upon
You know, he was
Balogun
blindsided by the Newcastle
was
player
so.
running on.
Yo, the follow through upon Balogun was so reckless, bro. That just that alone, the recklessness of the tackle should have been called. It's not that him
But
touch your ball.
You know,
It's not that him touch your ball. It's just the recklessness of the tackle. Because him have to stretch for touch your ball. So just imagine.
Arsenal or Liverpool, Ricky is gonna go the opposite. Once it's Arsenal or Liverpool, Ricky is gonna go there.
Ricky two daughter, them are Arsenal fan. Try again.
They should put him out of the house.
Try again.
Anyway, Shane, your thoughts on the City game?
No, the City game, it was brilliant. It was brilliant for Spurs. They really looked motivated, didn't they? Really, really up for the game. You know what I mean? And in a sense, Nuno Espirito Santo, I mean, in style of football, it was kind of set up for a game like this, right?
True.
That's how we want to set up in team. You know, you know what I mean? But it is important to look on Spurs side. And the people that has been like forgotten men, like you say, Lucas and Birdvine, you know, yeah, Dele Alli, but mostly I'm more of his shout out Birdvine and Lucas because they must still good players, right? And Birdvine,
especially Lucas.
Exactly. And
Lucas
they
took them to a Champions League final.
Exactly. And then they never have a shout. So then get a new manager now who look like they go get a chance. You know what I mean? And it'll be interesting. Højbjerg. Again, Pierre Højbjerg was very good in that midfield. He's such a good player, bro. Like he's
boss lace.
Such a good player, but he have quality to and he can pass it on. So I really like
he not just boss lace, he use it.
Yeah, man. So again, it was just a good all-around performance from, and it seems like said they were upbeat, like they were. You know, you see the fans them know after a game and they sing, "Are you watching Harry Kane?" You know what I mean?
That me go ask you. Do you think he will stay now for at least one more season?
No. He's not.
He doesn't want to stay.
Sentimental like that. He don't care. He want to move and he want his money, and that's fine. And if I was Spurs, I would sell him. I think he work out for everybody. You know. No. He don't care about that. And why would he?
If they're gonna sell him, they need to do it within the next 2 days, though, so they can reinvest that money before it's too late.
Well, Sumner, the other thing though, what my thought process was that not last year Wolves didn't have a great season. They kind of recede a little bit, but before that, Nuno wasn't terrible with Wolves. Wolves was one of my darling at the Premier League.
No, last year,
with Tottenham, he has more talent. So if he plays the same type of football he played that year before, with the talent he has at Tottenham, he has a possibility of them actually doing more than what they did last year and actually doing something good. So from that perspective, I don't think that terrible signing. It wasn't sexy. It wasn't the one that they're looking at and say we want that coach, but it can be something that work out for them.
That's true.
Last year, to his defense, Sarshin, just quick. Last year, to his defense, Liverpool took Jota, who was his second leading goal scorer, and then David Luiz took out Jimenez.
Raul Jimenez.
Who scored in critical games. I'm surprised he's still at Wolves, to be honest. Because this player scores in critical games. He might not score in bunches, but in games you need that 1-0 win, or you need a draw. As a matter of fact, I'm surprised Inter Milan hasn't reached out to them as yet for him. Because he could be a perfect replacement for Lukaku.
The injury kind of slowed down that process.
One other thing to Greg, the fact that Traore didn't have an assist or anything at all, I think, until the last game of the season. And it's not even a real assist. He hit the ball. But if you see the numbers, what they have between Traore and Jimenez, it's amazing. Before Kane and Son did that last year, it was Traore and Jimenez.
Yes.
Always Traore to Jimenez. They were the leading ones, So again, with Traore and Jimenez, the Wolves will have a chance back doing that.
But Traore getting 2 chances and score.
You can say Nuno doing the same thing at Spurs that he did that year at Wolves, and I think with better player quality that he have at his disposal, they will be fine.
Well,
one thing I like with go ahead, Shane, because I told
No, sorry. I'm just gonna say yes. They'll be fine. They still need, if they go lose Harry Kane, which I still think they will. They still will go need a real striker.
You don't think the Vinicius kid is good enough?
Sampdoria.
I never seen him play. I seen him play one time in the Europa League.
That's Sampdoria forward. What name? What name from Sampdoria?
The young Haaland. I know we're talking. I can't. Vlahovic or something like that.
The players them just look like they really are playing for Nuno. For Nuno. They really look like them up feet. Them look like them up feet.
Skip. A young player for them.
I didn't even remember about Skip.
Right.
The thing
but
with
it's also
Nuno that I like, and it's I tend to make this comparison with the Portuguese coaches and the Spanish coaches. It seems like the Portuguese coaches, well, except for Mourinho, tend to get their Mourinho get them to be a gritty team. But apart from him, the other Portuguese coaches get their players to play for them more. I think the Spanish coaches, because of their ego, if you notice, most of the top Spanish coaches, it is about them. Not so much about the team. Like everything around the team is like about them. The Portuguese coaches seem to have a different identity, and them players play for them more. That's just my opinion.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah, and if you look at the Spanish coaches, Pep, Arteta, what the one I used to say, Liverpool name?
Rafael.
Yeah, even though he won, but bruh, they're always so cocky. The Spanish coaches.
I hear you. Well,
not a right choice of word, right? Funny like
I don't understand you at all. I don't understand you.
But if you even look at, all right, I'll go back to Arsenal because I don't want to pass that long time.
No, go back. It's fine.
But if you look at Arteta, anyone at Arsenal that goes against him, or even speak out slightly, that's it for you. Whether you will be a manager in the under 16 team or his star player. Because new star come out now, which I had suspected from Friday when Aubameyang then got not even benched, got dropped when they said they were sick. That it was nothing like that.
What is the story?
Aubameyang and Lacazette were supposed to be in the starting lineup.
What is the story with them?
Supposedly they tell him that in training methods, like it's whack. They don't like it.
Wow.
And you can't go against, you can't speak against Arteta.
Huh? I don't fear feelings.
Arteta and Pep is the same thing. Pep just more successful.
That miss, achieve nothing in our sport yet.
Exactly. So he shouldn't be. He shouldn't be so.
Mannerisms and all of that stuff. You look like a tramp on the sidelines. You understand? You're Arsenal manager. You have to be dignified. Like first game of my season, bro. Put on a suit like Brendan. You understand what I mean? And forward and try if you make your name in that game, you try to act like Pep on the sideline, and you're not very good. You're not very good.
That's Ted Lasso for you, man.
You know, I mean, what this with the game Friday too? I mean, during COVID, when there were no fans, he was able to dictate everything the players did. That Brentford stadium was loud. So he couldn't tell the player them to pass it here, turn about, do this. So he looked lost on the sideline because he wasn't here in control.
Yo, where Arteta for do, Greg, what Arteta for do? For buy one of them earpiece there when he can talk to Pep. And then him buy a next one when he can talk to the player them. So while Pepper talk him and talk to the player them, I say, yo, do that. Brother, may I try help?
Bringing to NFL rules, huh?
Yes,
we can tell them back out there and to call the play. Like it's on time also.
Me said last week, the live Thursday night, that Pep has 2 minute calls and he's gonna miss. Remember I said it last week. I feel like that's gonna be City's goal.
Nadine busy on the road, but just
Pep
left
have 2
Nadine.
minute calls. Push mute your phone.
You can't mute the pull out the thing, boy.
Mute, nobody know your business.
What the hell is going on here?
I don't know.
I think we're going too long. Where's Buja? We got a few more minutes to get this thing wrapped up, so.
All right.
But where I said, Greg, go on, talk any talk. You say you think you gonna mess up with a bunch of. I just think he needs a focal point. I don't think he need a striker. You know what I mean? If you complete this side.
How can you have a striker who actually plays for Brazil sometimes, and he's back up to nobody?
To nobody. He's back up to a ghost.
This is his backup. But you know
best backup in the league, actually. They're the best backup striker in the league.
And you are the one who went out and got him saying he's going to replace Aguero. Because you didn't like the kind of striker that Aguero was. So
the man is the best backup striker in the league.
To who?
And if you're Jesus, that can be good for your confidence, right?
No.
Because you're not getting on time. It's not like you play him constantly, right? You play one game, then you not play the next game. It's just always stop-start.
And even when he plays him, he plays Sterling as a false nine until Jesus play wide.
Play wide, it don't make no sense at all.
Even though I'm the biggest Sterling fan, Jesus is a way better finisher than Sterling. It's not even close.
Yeah.
But not just that. Jesus' scoring record when he actually played in the league, it's actually a very good record.
It's good.
It's a very good record.
But you know what? Look no farther than Iniacho. Remember, Iniacho was at City.
I remember.
Just wouldn't give Iniacho a look in. And look at Iniacho now. Whenever he plays, he look good.
Well, let's see what Iniacho do over the course of a year, though, instead of course of a half a year.
He wasn't playing as much because Vardy was the man.
Which is what I said. So now, after what he did, there's an expectation now for the rest of the year, for this year.
I think he can keep it up. Because remember, before Pep went to City, he was scoring a few goals.
Yeah, but again, sporadic to see him will come on and score. You keep thinking, well, if he get a bigger role, he can do more with it. If you kind of multiply the numbers. You're hoping that's what happened. Again, you're not going to get as much time because now the time is going to be split between him, Daka, and Vardy. And I think they brought in a boy Daka to actually play.
Is good.
He's a good player. So I'm thinking they brought him into play. So from that perspective, is he going to get enough time?
Bojo, your fellow panelists are removing themselves one by one. Shane Wi-Fi just got bad.
You have to unmute your phone out.
Leave him, we don't want to hear him. Leave him, make him say the one. But yeah. I mean that's it. When you talk about Chelsea, I think you know left off at Chelsea too quick.
We spent 10 minutes on Chelsea. Why are we talking about Chelsea now?
Hell no. Cause me reach in and run go show and by the time even so but me here, Chelsea don't talk about Unagan and Liverpool.
Now,
Listen, if he's gonna play with a 10, right? Who do you see as a better 10? ZH or Havertz?
oh, Havertz.
Really?
Yeah. I would always play ZH out on one of the wing them. I wouldn't play him as 10. I don't think he has the body, the physicality to play in the middle of one Premier League midfield. In that partner.
But he has better wingers, so he's not gonna.
But that's what I say. But as a 10, I would still rather Havertz inside there than ZH. I don't think ZH have the body type. He doesn't have to be in the middle of a field like that. If you put him out on an island with somebody, he can beat anybody and do anything. But in the middle, I don't think I'd want him inside there. Not in my team. Not a team that I want to say who's gonna win stuff. You know, that's why I look at it.
All right, this is how I compare both of them. The players I'm compare them to. Havertz to me is like Ozil. Really, Kush? Really? Off camera, please. Havertz to me is more like a Ozil. ZH is like a David Silva, if you ask me. Like they're more mobile and more dribbling skill.
Okay.
While Havertz, even though Havertz is a bit more physical than Ozil, but he plays a kind of laid back ball game like Ozil.
I know, which is that, but at the same time, he actually has that thing when he actually releases the ball inside the midfield, he runs right in the middle of the box. He runs inside there, so he brings something else where he helped to load up the box when time he released that ball. Because that's why he's not a false nine so often. Yeah, because that's what he likes to do. Yeah, that's what he did at Leverkusen and Chelsea. When Chelsea was playing for the better ball last year, that's the same thing that they were using him as. You know? As a false nine quite a few times to when time the other guy who was supposed to be at Liverpool decided to go to Chelsea and wasn't scoring. Yeah? You have muted phone now, sir.
No, I muted on a phone, on my laptop. I muted for Google. But yeah, him kind of remind me somewhat to have because he's very physical. Like he's not small. People might look at him and say like him frame and think him fragile, but he's pretty big. Even when he played at a false nine, he kind of remind me then of somewhat of a Ballack. Because as a midfielder, how his stature. But again, because he's so lackadaisical sometimes, like to me, if Havertz have whole heap more to give.
Listen, they did pay a lot of money for him now. It's not about 90 million they paid for him.
Yeah, he has a whole lot more to unlock.
There is some talent there.
But because of ZH energy, that's why me just like ZH more. Me actually didn't want Arsenal sign ZH.
I mean, no, that thing will get around to, but I'm glad they didn't sign him. Bojo, thank you very much, sir.
Time to wrap this up.
Yeah, man. It was a good show.
Really?
Even though we lost.
Missing for half of it.
Who? Yeah, if you 5 minutes of fame, me attack. But anyway, we lost a lot of panelists along the way, but it was a good show again. You know. Preview show Thursday. The game I play Friday. Game I play Friday?
No.
No.
Can do Thursday.
Preview show Thursday. You don't know. So big up on yourself.
What's your expectation for Arsenal versus? Oh, we leave that till Thursday. Mr. Chelsea 12, Arsenal 1.
Man, not that far off of that, but anyways, let's go boy.
I see a picture of Lukaku pulling Ben White around on the internet.
Really? Actually, I watched Marseille yesterday versus Bordeaux, and Saliba looked good.
Anyway, we need to wrap up. It's 2 hours and 20 minutes now.
2 hours and 16. Canada time different? They get 2 hours and 20 minutes.
Bojo, go on, yeah. Do your thing.
Yeah, big up.
Whoa, what kind of closing is that?
Bojo,
Oh,
do you think?
Official closing, sir.
yeah. That's the show. Is a boy just getting representing the First Sports TV, Black Star, Sports Wiz, late as usual. But anyway, I'm still show up. If you're new
No
here,
worries.
subscribe to the channel. Like the Instagram page and the Facebook page. Boy just getting out.
You need some